Sorry for the late start, everyone. We were having a good time talking in the backgrounds, and we lost track of time. And today we have, of course, the great trivia master Brian Christgau and Simon Poitier, also known as Sim, here with us. And I want you guys to know that Sim is going to become a regular fixture around here. We're going to be doing horror talk with a new CG element. It's going to be CG horror talk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And this is a new thing. We're gonna start hitting this pretty hard. And so if you are CG and you got something horror, if it's a horror project, anything, let us know. We would like you to come on and talk about it.
We will be all over it.
Hell yeah.
We want your monsters.
And by the way, just allow me to thank you, Drew, for making something up that that it wasn't me that was responsible for the late launch. He was protecting me, my brother, man. But I got to fess up. I was late, so yeah. It's if you need to bag on somebody, folks, bag on me. But that's what a brother Drew is. He's like willing to take one for me, take a bullet, a virtual bullet.
I ain't no rat.
No snitch.
Yeah, never.
So I figured I'd snitch on myself.
Yeah, I can see that. You're like that little kid in elementary school that had a hard time doing something wrong and then keeping it to himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I have a very guilty conscience.
Yeah. I was the one that no one ever could fucking crack. Is he with? He might look like he's guilty or up to something. Can't be sure. Yeah, I would just sit there.
Yeah, I'd make a lousy criminal.
I make too well of one. That's why I had to stop that kind of life.
I hear that.
All right, so we in the back room were on a topic of someone excellent and great. And
someone that we all love.
Someone that we all love. Someone that Sim even named one of his main characters after. And that someone is Vincent Price. So, Brian, please continue what you were talking about, the Prince of Horror.
Oh, yes. I was as a kid, I was like a lot of horror fans, just absolutely in love with the Roger Corman Poe movies, which Vincent Price starred in virtually all of them except for one, which was The Premature Burial, which featured Ray Milland. So as a kid, loved Pit the Pendulum, The Mask of the Red Death. That's still my favorite. Tomb of Lygia. Corman made a bunch of those with Richard Matheson writing excellent scripts. Richard Matheson is the guy who wrote I Am Legend, and I always like to say wrote every episode of the Twilight Zone that you remember, and it scared the shit out of you. So yeah. Anyway, it was, I was maybe 10 years old, and I was staying up late as usual to watch horror movies, and I think it was about 11:30, and maybe it was Nightline. I remember it was one of the networks. I forget the show, though. They had Vincent Price on, and they were taking calls. And people were able to communicate with the man himself via telephone. So I got on there fast, and unfortunately, I never got through, but that close. It's like Christopher Lee. I saw in person, but I was too shy to approach and meet, unfortunately.
As much as I loved Vincent Price movies, I actually was introduced to Vincent Price as a very, very small child, but before I could even speak well, radio dramas.
Oh yeah, they've got all of those now.
My mother used to listen to those radio dramas from when I was in the womb.
No shit.
Yeah, so probably until I was about 4 or 5. My mom regularly listened to those radio dramas, and eventually I stopped hanging out with her. You know what I mean? When she was, and then if I wasn't with her, she would listen to something else. You know what I mean? But if I was hanging out with my mom, she would turn those radio dramas on, and I would just sit there and listen to them, and she I guess listened to those when she told me that she listened to those when I was in the womb. So it could influence, probably it probably may have had some kind of influence, possibly.
That's beautiful. Yeah, one of the things that a lot of people don't know is that Vincent Price, his career was pretty much over when he started doing the Corman Poe movies. He was never really the horror guy. He'd been in a couple of horror movies. Like here we're looking at a still from House on Haunted Hill, the William Castle classic. God, I'm trying to think some of the classic movies that he was in pre horror iconhood. The Ten Commandments, he's in that. Yeah, no, his career was pretty much in the dumps, and then Corman started using him and casting him in his Poe movies, and that's what really launched him into horror icon status, where he has remained ever since and shall forevermore.
He's got a very haunting, dignified look. You know what I mean? And then his voice, his vocal presence is amazing.
It is. On the downside, he was an incredibly hammy actor. There's just no denying it. He was a scenery chewer. He was a ham. Now, of course, there are hammy actors who were hammy on purpose. And I'm thinking Anthony Hopkins.
He reminds me of an English stage actor. His approach was like English stage theater. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I would, the way he acted, to me, seemed totally normal for that era, because the best actors were trained in England. You know what I mean? Kind of, I had that approach. So
yeah, well, he was a stage actor, but of course, stage acting is all about projecting, whereas film acting is all about the close up.
Right. Yes, exactly. Where you could tell his comfort zone was more in as if it was for the stage. He's acting to the room instead of to the camera. Yeah.
My favorite Vincent Price story. He was working on the Witchfinder General, which is a classic and once notorious horror film. Really pushed the boundaries where violence was concerned at the time. The director, Michael Reeves, was asking him to tone his performance down. Always, bring it down, like turn the volume down. You're being too loud. You're being too hammy, and he wouldn't let Vincent just be Vincent. And so he got a little miffed, this young auteur director, telling him how to act. And so he said, "Young man, I've been in over 100 films. What have you done?" And Michael Reeves just looked at him and replied, 2 good ones. And
harsh.
Yeah, and Vincent Price just died laughing. He just cracked up, and he was just like, "Okay, all right, okay, no mas, okay, we'll do things your way." And he ended up giving the best performance of his life, I think.
Well, I would say that when Vincent had the gray set in, that's when his best work started happening.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it's just because he had done enough of movie acting at that point, and probably where he got to see himself on screen, to where he just matured to the level of performance that was just it was unimpeccable. You're an annoying cat.
Is that Pepper Potts?
No, this is Darla. She wants me to pet her, and she wants to take all my attention right now.
Aww. Yeah. Well, you can multitask. He's being
pushy.
I love it. Yeah, cats could be that way.
Yeah. No, she definitely is. Hey, Sim, are you doodling or anything? Do you want to share a screen while we talk?
I can't really show what I'm doing. Give me a sec.
You don't want to show what you're doing?
Hold on.
Okay. Maybe you want to show the porn. You don't want to show that you're surfing porn.
Yeah, we don't want to see your meth lab.
I'm working on the final pages of Blood Hunt, so I can't really.
Oh, I got you. I got
Yeah.
you. No, they're top secret. We don't want you to do
Oh,
that. So yeah.
Looking forward to Blood Hunt, man.
Hell yeah.
That's
Can't
gonna
really
be a badass book.
You bet your ass. Especially if you like those kicking ass vampires.
Most definitely.
It's like bringing back the cool badass vampire because those twinkles there don't like
Oh
them.
God. Okay. I try to explain this to my friends. Vampires don't sparkle.
Nope.
Werewolves do not play basketball. And zombies don't eat animals.
And don't run.
And they don't run. Their ankles would snap, as George Romero said. But you break those rules, you piss me off.
So is your screen safe, Sim?
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay, then I'll wait.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
let me know when you're ready. So Blood Hunt. This one by Sim is going to be awesome. This character, Vincent, this dude sitting there in front of the moon, named for Vincent Price, which
Yep.
is a great transition from what we were just talking about.
Also,
but I
one of the
want you.
reasons why he has all the gray hair.
Yeah. This book needs to be at the 10K point. This is going to be a great book, and it is just horrifically underfunded here. These numbers need to be higher. I mean, Sim's obviously going to deliver it. It's going to be amazing, but did you pop in and out, Brian? That was weird.
What?
Oh, okay. Sim was doing a screen thing. I got you. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I just shared my screen. I'm gonna do a little something while we're live. I don't know what, but it's just doodle a bit.
but yeah, so he's at 7870, which is a fun number, but that should be 10, that should be some five. We need 5 numbers there.
Especially that at 10K we get 4 more pages in the book, and every physical backer get a sketch cards in it.
Yeah, so we need to get that 10K before he finishes the book and prints it, or the 4 pages are never coming.
So as soon as I'm ordering the prints, I'm closing, and it's gonna be next month. Like, I don't know if it's gonna be 2 weeks or 3 weeks, because I just had like an entire week where I had to wait for my replacement for my pen display there. It just stopped working last Sunday.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, so everything's back to normal now. So
Awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah, I was tempted as heck today to launch my campaign, but I think I'm going to launch it tomorrow.
Tomorrow is good because tomorrow we do Indie Comics interviews, so we can feature your launch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you have some show plan to do your launch?
Nothing's official yet.
You do now. You do
I've
now.
Heard. Well, yes. Okay. Yeah. Well, like I said, I know my man Drew's got my back. Mandy might be having me on. The people at Graded Point 5 are interested in having me on. So hopefully, I'm gonna bust a move tomorrow and hopefully hit some respectable numbers. We shall see.
Well, I would suggest it, but there's no way I could do it, and that's another 24-hour stream. That went really well. No, that would only work for RGE because of his audience.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. But also, a great looking product.
Yes.
Great looking book, because you've got these campaigns that have been, Liam, my God, man, with Xenotype just completely freaking killing it, right? But that's also because they've got a quality looking product. Both of those comics look fantastic.
Yeah. Yes.
So if they looked like crap, or if they had shitty plots or unappealing characters, they wouldn't be making anywhere near those numbers.
Right. So yeah. So I'll put the link in the chat. I'll put the link in the description because you probably need it after the video is done. But there will be a link in the description when the video is over to Blood Hunt. Make sure you go there and back Blood Hunt when you're watching this. If you don't back Blood Hunt yet, you're gonna regret not backing this book because it's gonna be a great story and you're gonna want it. So
and both covers that are on that campaign will not be reprinted. That's exclusive for that campaign because that's not the final edition. The final edition will be in black and red.
Yeah. So get on it while you can, because those collector's items will be gone. Because I mean, Sim's a great artist, and he's going to be a big name. He's just blowing up. You know, he's just starting to blow up. So
Yep,
No, thank
without
you.
a doubt, without a doubt. And
what do we got going here? It looks like are we doing a werewolf? Are we doing a cat person? What do we got going here?
We're doing a little Vincent.
Ah, we're doing a Vincent.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I just did the mouth a bit too big right now, and the magic of digital.
Yeah.
by the way, do you guys know Vincent Price's very last performance?
Not yet. Why don't you tell
What
us?
was it? Edward Scissorhands,
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He was the creator in the era.
the inventor.
That's correct.
Yeah, and there's something just extra touching, I think, about that scene, and his acting is really beautiful in that. And
Yeah,
the
he
scene,
had mastered his skill at that point. Yeah.
he had that's the thing. You have certain actors like Robert De Niro. They get to a certain point. They've had so much smoke blown up their asses. They're high off the smell of their own farts. Hey, what's up, movies and brewskis?
Yeah.
That they get complacent. They get comfortable in their talent because they know they can just come in, phone it in, and they'll still be okay. Brando was like that too. Towards the end of his career, like for the most part, with rare exceptions, couldn't be bothered to be anything more than just slightly present. But then you have people who keep trying and keep trying and keep trying to get better and keep trying to get better, and those are the true artists, And Vincent Price kept getting better. Without a doubt, and I think he was criminally underused towards the end of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And he's somebody.
I discovered him from his voice acting. He was like the top, the go-to guy for narration in most things. Like, yeah,
He's on the Thriller record. No one could forget that. And
yeah, the Thriller record. I remember that.
Yeah. I don't remember the title of the show, but remember he was the host of a horror show. I don't remember what it was though.
Oh, was this a Canadian thing?
No,
it was like a kids show, right?
It was a horror. It was a horror where he was presenting old horror movies. A bit
so Metal just said that somebody should do a Vincent Price comic, and I wanted him to know that there are Vincent Price comics. In fact,
yes, there are.
Vincent Price Presents Comics is a whole, like, a few years of comics at least. I mean, there's a lot of comic books that are from Vincent Price Presents.
Absolutely.
So, and you can get them like for like $1. I mean, they're available. In fact, Comicology would have a complete collection of them, that you could probably get all for $1 each. So if that's if you want digital. Physical copies, those would be harder to get. I'm just saying. But,
was it Gold Key that put those out?
no, let's take a look.
I remember going to like the
Tidal
supermarket.
Tidal Wave Productions.
Tidal Wave Productions, interesting. Oh, I think this is like a more recent indie as opposed to the like older Vincent Price comics.
This is the Vincent Price Presents number 0.
Okay. All right.
Let's see, what's the year on this?
I might be getting it mixed up with the.
Oh no, this is digital release date is 2012. So the actual creation date isn't listed here. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm just multitasking here myself.
So yeah, we're so entertaining when we sit here and flip our computers.
To feel the dead air here, you will notice that Vincent has 2 pairs of fangs.
Oh, uppers and unders.
He has a smaller pair under there. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. You bite big old plugs out of people. I don't know if you've ever seen a movie. It's called The Night Flyer.
Nope.
It's based on a Stephen King story about a vampire who travels by airplane, small airplane, and lands in small airports, small airports for small planes. Mm-hmm. And that's how he feeds. we'll stop at these little airports and just like wipe everybody out, and then take off this airplane. And in the movie version, there's a very interesting monster design that I've never. That's totally original. When the victims are found, they look like they've had railroad spikes driven through their throat. And when you see the vampire, what he has is he has one giant tusk that comes up from above and another one that comes from below. So he's just sort of stapling people, you know? Ka-chunk.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah, that's once again, it's difficult to come up with original concepts when it comes to vampires doing things that haven't been done. What I love about Blood Hunt is that here we have a vampire who feeds on monsters.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not making him a hero or like, oh, poor me. No,
Right.
He's a monster for hire, and the reason why it's titled Blood Hunt is because he has a blood hunt. He wants somebody's blood for payback for what him.
And there's some very brutal, very creative ways that Vincent kills monsters in this book. I have seen some of them in confidence. I'm not going to reveal spoilers, but I'm just going to say that there's some fucking cool ass ways that Vincent takes some monsters out in this book.
I think I can honestly say you will see a werewolf being disposed in a way that you haven't seen.
Yes, that would definitely be something that you have not seen before. I'll qualify that as a real thing.
My interest is piqued, certainly. What was I going to say?
Like you thought you only needed silver bullets. Yeah, Vincent's all. I don't need no silver bullets.
Hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
And silver bullets are not from folklore. They're from the Wolfman, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting how works of art can change the folklore, or how they become a part of the folklore, because originally silver bullets were for vampires.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But Kurt Siodmak, who wrote the Wolfman, decided to make silver the kryptonite for werewolves,
which doesn't make very much sense. But
no, well, I mean,
silver is supposed to be the pure metal, the purest metal. So the reason why silver would have been that is because it's like, the religious, holy aspects of it, and
symbol of purity.
Yeah, symbol of purity.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like
see, in Blood Hunt, the only way to dispose of a vampire, like holy water, don't work. Crosses, don't work. Silver, don't work. The only thing is decapitating them, really destroying the body, like burning them.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Because even decapitated, if you don't do nothing with it, you put the head back on, you'll be back.
Nice.
So it's draining their blood, getting rid of the body by burning it to ashes. It's gone. Ripping the heart out. That will stop it, but it can heal from it. So you destroy it after. It's that type of vampire.
So they're very resilient.
What movie is it that vampirism is? They have it as an advanced form of like an HIV type of virus. What movie?
It's in Ultraviolet.
Is that Ultraviolet? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Which is an interesting movie. It's a kind of a live action anime.
Yep. It's an eye candy. That's how I said. It's like, if you're expecting to go see a great movie, nah, not so much.
Yeah, the story's Lone Wolf and Cub, basically.
I wish people would be a little bit better at making a good movie. You know what I mean? That off of a good property. I kind of get sick of Hollywood just like throwing a bunch of people who don't even know the property very well into making a movie, and they make this visually stunning movie, but nobody understands the property. Like, have you guys seen Valerian? Right, that one.
No, I haven't.
Those comic books were awesome. They were the artwork and those books were amazing. When I heard the movie was coming out, I'm like, this is going to be the most visually stunning, cool,
Yeah.
freaking bounty hunter style movie I've ever seen.
And I couldn't wait. And it's from it's from Jean-Luc Besson.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm like, dude, it looks good. It's gonna be fucking awesome.
I thought it was going to be the coolest shit ever, and it was the biggest disappointment. It was visually stunning. That much I'll give it.
Because they could not understand the chemistry and the magic between the two characters.
Right. They definitely lost any of the personal dynamic at all, and the adventure was weak. It was like half-assed.
And you would think that Jean-Luc Besson would kind of get it because he did The Fifth Element, which is a live-action French science fiction comic.
Mm-hmm.
And I love French comics.
And Fifth Element being one of my favorites. Fifth Element being one of my biggest influences in general. So.
It would be one of my favorites if it didn't have Bruce Willis and if they had cast Jean Reno, it would be a masterpiece.
Yeah, well, you know what? I love Bruce Willis, man. Ever since Moonlighting, and then Die Hard, those movies like that. He's sorry, man. He's one of my favorites. Just
don't apologize to me. It's
I'm apologizing to your sensibilities.
My Bruce Willis problem is not your problem. It's just a matter of taste.
No, Kurt Russell is my absolute favorite, but if I think of Bruce Willis as Kurt Russell turned into like an everyday dude with a sense of humor. You know what I mean?
Oh, Kurt Russell's the man.
Kurt Russell's my favorite. He's my number one choice as when they say who's your favorite actor, I go to Kurt Russell. And people get mad at me when I tell them my second. And my second actually is Kevin Costner, and they get like.
I was a big fan of his before, till
Fandango. After Fandango, I was a Kevin Costner fan.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
He was Robin Hood.
with the funky
he disappointed
accent.
me in Robin Hood. I'm just saying, Robin Hood was a bit of disappointment.
Yeah, but he was sort of miscast.
Yes.
I would say.
But Dances with Wolves.
Oh, great!
Excellent acting.
Yeah.
End to end. I mean, The Postman. Holy crap! One of the most undersung movies of all time. Acting in that, amazing. Waterworld, the acting terrific. It didn't seem like he had to do a lot, but you have to understand that if you understand acting, that was actually very difficult, and he did an amazing job with that. Kevin Costner is an amazing actor.
And Waterworld is not the horrible movie that people say it is.
No, it's a great movie.
Well, I don't think it's a great movie, but it's treated. It's unfairly maligned.
It's not an Oscar winner, but it's great as in it is something that you can watch over and over and over and over and over again, see new things in it, find new elements that'll still entertain you, and still find it entertaining.
It's Mad Max on water.
I was just about to say, oh man, I love me the Mad Max movies. The Mad Max movies are just so the first two, The third one, I left the theater feeling just crestfallen when I was a kid.
I liked Thunderdome. I didn't. I mean, Thunderdome was fun, man. It was not okay. No Road Warrior. It was.
It's a kinder, gentler Mad Max. That was also my problem with the recent Fury Road. Was a kinder, gentler Mad Max. Yeah, actually, my problem with Fury Road, he's not even the hero.
Right. But Fury Road had great moments in it, though. That's the thing. It had some really great moments that even for the stupid stuff that was lame, there were great moments that salvaged it in a big way.
Oh, and visually just eye-popping, astounding. Yeah, it's an astounding it's an astounding achievement at a technical level. The
CGI alone during the storm is some of the most impressive CGI that I have seen in a long time. And people don't realize because it's a storm and there's things in there. Those elements, the way that they were moving, the speed that they're moving, the level of textures they had to implement into that. People don't realize how complicated that actual CGI process was to get that to look even remotely realistic. They had it looking dead on real.
Yeah.
Not like a cartoon, like a dead on real. Yeah.
They worked on that for years. I think like 5 years it took to make that movie. And they were also making a video game at the same time. And the video game, while not perfect is also eye-popping and astounding. And they actually withheld the movie from release until the video game was done, so they could release them at around the same time.
Yeah. And I'd like to point out that in Mad Max, a lot of people like say, "Oh, it's a feminist movie because the female character is the dominant." Blah blah blah. And let me correct that. Okay, that's not actually accurate. It is not a feminist movie. If you look at all the elements involved, it is about a little bit of female liberation, but they did not take it like where, bitch was a Mary Sue or bitch didn't deserve her role. She was definitely identified as somebody who had earned her place as being a bad bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And a damaged person.
Right. And she was, looking after a bunch of girls that were, totally needy. It was well done. As far as that goes, I mean, it's here's one of those movies that was a female lead, female dominant, and it didn't offend any men.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I absolutely would agree with that. What's great about the character about Emperator,
although it shouldn't have been a Mad Max movie. It should have been something else.
It should have been. It isn't a Mad Max movie. It's an Imperator Furiosa movie. What's great about that character is that she's damaged, and that ultimately it's a redemption story.
Right. That would have been awesome. Instead of Mad Max, they just called it Furiosa.
Yeah.
That would have been, and then they could have that could have been a spinoff if they wanted to, like Mad Max ended up being. It could have been a whole new series. They didn't have to take the Mad Max name just because it was easy to sell.
I'm just hoping that the next one, because George Miller is planning on doing another one, I hope the next one is a proper Mad Max movie, and I want to see the goddamned V8 Interceptor. Damn it!
Yes.
You know what? I really wish that they would do another Mad Max movie with actually Mel Gibson as Mad Max again, as an old fucking gray-haired Mad Max. Yeah. Have you seen that Mel Gibson movie where he was the prisoner and he was like trying to, and his daughter got into trouble because she was into drugs and that kind of stuff? He was ex-con and that. Yeah. He's so badass in that movie. That is like one of my favorite Mel Gibson movies right now. And I have a lot of favorite Mel Gibson movies. That one is that one just took it like to an actor's level. The Gringo. That's the name of it, right? Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. That movie's badass.
And here's the thing. It's like one like Metal Movies and Brewskis says, I'm about Soldier. Soldier, grossly underrated movie.
I fucking love Soldier. That is my favorite Kurt Russell movie, dude. That is my favorite Kurt Russell movie.
It's like another one that's sci-fi horror, right?
Yeah.
It was my favorite Van Damme movie, right? It was Cyborg.
Oh, I love Cyborg.
Yeah, that's a good Van Damme movie right there.
That's the best Van Damme movie.
Yeah, that and Hard Target by John.
I really liked what was that one? The time traveler one. What the fuck? The Time Cop.
Oh, Time Cop.
I liked that one.
That one had a whole bunch of problems though.
It's fun.
Yeah.
But we're talking about like Kurt Russell.
It had a good script though. That's what I liked about it.
Did you know that
it did?
Yeah.
But Kurt Russell's performance in Soldier, I mean, he has no dialogue in that. All the dialogue he has is like, yes, sir, no, sir.
Yeah.
And his performance in that is
I was replaced, sir.
Yep. Oh God. Yeah.
No, better soldier.
My favorite movie of his is Big Trouble.
Oh, Big Trouble in Little China. Yes, that was
the fucking movie.
Oh, that's one of my fucking favorites. There's
all the Carpenter movies, man. Yes. All the Carpenter movies.
Oh, dude, Carpenter is my guy.
Yeah, I'm a huge Carpenter fan.
Yeah, him and Rodriguez.
Oh, They Live.
Yeah,
They Live.
Yeah,
I love They Live.
Oh man, the fight scene in that, I remember.
Oh, that's still my favorite fight scene in any fucking movie ever.
He made my favorite vampire movie. Vampires.
Yeah, Vampires. Yeah, that's the one with James Woods, right?
Yes.
Hey, yeah. Tell me about it.
Underrated.
Tell me about it. When I was beating your ass before. Yeah. Did you get wood?
Yeah. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. What's great about horror as a genre is that the hero doesn't always have to be a candy ass. One of the things that story was saying was if you had somebody whose job it was to go around killing vampires, he probably wouldn't be a very nice person. you probably wouldn't want a really nice person to do a job like that. You probably would want somebody who's a little bit of a son of a bitch. And in horror, you can get away with that. Now, in Japanese comics and in anime, you can have unsympathetic or like morally dubious or even evil protagonists, right? Like the Golgo 13 manga and animated series that came out a couple of years ago about an assassin who's clearly a sociopath, and yet you're fascinated just watching what he does. And that's the most important thing, is that you is not that the characters necessarily be sympathetic, but that they be interesting, that they hold your attention. Oh God, thinking about other Japanese characters are very morally dubious. There are the Lone Wolf and Cub movies, also the based on the manga, and that's a character who's an assassin for hire. You pay him, he will kill anybody. What's another one? Nomori Kyoshiro, the Sleepy Eyes of Death. But although I'm getting way off topic here with the samurai movies, but yeah, I recommend checking those out.
There's not enough of that. There needs to be more samurai horror. Mm-hmm. There needs to be more of that.
Yes.
With those demons and shit,
and not like the samurais are fighting some mystic witch or whatever. I mean, like raw demons that are just fucking ungodly horror. Okay,
Ninja Scroll.
Okay, so love
Ninja Scroll, man.
Right?
Yeah. So what was it? Ronin 17, right? The Keanu Reeves one. My favorite part of that movie is when he's fighting the people that raised him. You know what I mean? That right there could have been taken to a level of like haunting horror that would have taken that movie, made that movie so much. I mean, the movie was great. I mean, it wasn't like, one of my best movies or fantastic, but it was a good movie. But that would have taken that whole scene. Those characters could have been done so much more creepy. It would have made people talk about that movie a lot more too.
Wasted potential, totally wasted potential. If you want to see a great samurai movie that has supernatural horror elements, I highly recommend Legend of the Eight Samurai. This was around the time that Star Wars had come out, had been a huge hit, of course, all over the world, particularly in Japan. I'm sorry?
I was just welcoming Tatsu.
Okay. Hey, what's up, Tatsu? Everybody in the chat, yo. But Star Wars had come out, and so the Japanese, of course, wanted to make some ripoffs. They did one called Message from Space, which is a clusterfuck, but a fun one. But they did something really clever with Legend of the Eight Samurai, which was they kind of looked at their own folklore, and they found a fairy tale and were like, wait a second, that's sort of like Star Wars, isn't it? Let's do a movie on that. And that's Legend of the Eight Samurai, which is about a group of very different characters who are drawn together, who are sort of chosen to fight a supernatural evil. This witch and her evil brother, and it looks astounding. The music's great. It's got Sonny Chiba in it. Love me some Sonny Chiba. But it's not necessarily an easy movie to find. But if you can find it, definitely check that out. Legend of the Eight Samurai. That has some really spectacular supernatural horror moments too.
Yeah, supernatural horror is cool. That's in fact, that is actually supposed to be the subject of this week's show, is supernatural and other creepy elements in horror movies.
Mm-hmm. So. Like me, I love sci-fi horror.
Me too.
Me too. Event Horizon was sick.
Yeah, that was kind of twisted.
Pendulum was also awesome.
Pendulum, that one,
that's underrated, but it's freaking great.
The Dennis Quaid and what was the name of the other actor in that?
Remember.
What the hell is that actor's name? Come on, Brian, you're the one usually
I'm not sure about the movie that you're talking about. You're talking about Pandorum?
Yeah.
Pandorum, yeah.
Yes. I forget the name of the actor. He was also in the remake of 310 to Yuma. Yeah,
the hell is
you're
that?
gonna have to IMD that one.
I am already there, man. I'm already there.
Yeah. Yeah, and Pandorum has its fervent defenders. I need to take another look at it. I liked it, but I certainly didn't love it.
It had the traditional sci-fi horror kind of feel. It was very traditional, where it was very like long drawn out moments with a lot of action,
Mhm.
quick moments of action, and then long drawn out moments of like, I don't know what's going to happen next.
Classic type of like
Alien.
aliens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ben
Well,
Ben Foster is the name of that actor.
yeah,
Ben
that's it.
Foster.
That's it. Well, it's very interesting that science fiction and horror go so well together, because the very first science fiction novel is
Because no one, because in
novel.
space no one can hear you scream. Is that why?
Well, that helps. That helps.
It's Frankenstein.
Yeah, exactly. It's Frankenstein. Yep, that's the first science fiction. Yeah, so
I loved the premise of
horror.
I love the premise of Pandorum, because the humans evolved into monsters.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was clever.
That I loved that. And then and those monsters were kind of scary. They really should have done more. They should have done more of the monsters. You
I
know
agree.
what I mean?
Totally agree.
But they were horrifying. They were great.
I love werewolves. I love vampires. But in all those classic novels, my favorite one was Frankenstein.
Yeah, my favorite type of monster is the werewolf. My favorite monster, the Frankenstein monster.
Okay, so my favorite monster, who's gonna guess my favorite monster?
I don't know.
King Kong?
Mr. Hyde.
Ah, yes. Excellent choice. Excellent choice.
One of my favorite books of all time, Jekyll and Hyde, even though it's just a little teeny tiny thin ass, like half chapter book almost, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. And what's so interesting is if you read the original Robert Louis Stevenson story and you're already used to depictions of Hyde in the movies, the thing that surprises you is that Hyde is smaller, actually shorter than Jekyll, and
but wider.
Right, he looks like he's a little Glenn Danzig,
and a little hunchbacked,
but also there's nothing unusual about his face, except everybody who looks him in the face hates him, and they don't know why, and they can't tell you why. But there's something about him when they look him in the eye. They're just like, find him repellent. Yeah, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, huge fan. Very interesting Jekyll and Hyde movie I would recommend to you, Drew, is Dr. Jekyll and His Women. That just came out on Blu-ray. That had never been available on VHS, had never been available on DVD. It was like the big cult movie release of last year. That's an incredible movie. It's a art house horror movie. And then that Udo Kier plays Dr. Jekyll. He invites people over for a dinner party. He excuses himself to go upstairs. And what's interesting is the way he turns into Hyde is with bath salts. That's to say, he draws a bath, he pours the formula into the bathtub, and jumps into the bathtub, rolls around in it. And I don't know how they did this, because it's one static shot. As Udo Kier is like rolling around in the water, another actor emerges, because they have a completely different actor playing Hyde in that, and he proceeds to murder and rape not just the women but also the men at the party. It's completely bonkers in a really wonderful way.
It wasn't there the parody called Dr. Love or something like that was made too?
Jekyll and Hyde Together Again.
Jekyll and Hyde Together Again. I think there were Dr.
Strangelove.
Dr. Strangelove.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hype, which I've never seen, which has Oliver Reed. And then, of course, there is the Hammer movie, Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde.
Okay.
Which is very good, because the actress Martine Beswick and the actor Alan Bates actually look as if they could be brother and sister. And so in that, of course, Dr. Jekyll turns into a woman.
Yeah, Doctor Strangelove was that war movie with
Oh yeah,
with Peter Sellers. So
yes, Stanley Kubrick
yeah.
classic. Yeah.
That I still I that what the most iconic scene in that movie when fucking what's his name is riding that fucking missile to the
for Slim Pickens, man.
Slim Pickens. Yeah, Slim Pickens riding that fucking missile to
Yep. It's an iconic moment, iconic cinema moment, without a doubt. But yeah, no, supernatural horror. You know, supernatural horror has a particular resonance. There's a reason why it's still around. I know there's some people that can't get into supernatural horror. It has to be a realistic horror, something that could actually happen to them. I think to a large degree, those are folks who have difficulty suspending their disbelief. But I think that that's something that's incredibly important, especially when you're going into a horror film, because horror films are very much about the irrational invading the rational world, where suddenly things aren't the way that you thought that they were. That's why there's something inherently subversive about the horror genre, even though it could also be very conservative in many respects. I'm thinking of like the slasher films. In particular, where the people all the kids who are having sex are the ones who get butchered, and the doe-eyed virgin is the one who
but the ones
survives.
The best slasher films though have almost a supernatural element. I mean, with the exception of
Halloween.
Whereas like it's a demonic possession or in after death, like Freddy Krueger. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like Freddy Krueger. They cheesed out those Nightmare on Elm Street movies, but the first one.
Yeah,
the first one scared the shit out of me.
It's very effective.
It gave me nightmares, and I was a kid. I was a little kid. I was like fucking junior high school, but
right.
It gave me fucking nightmares.
Yeah, Freddy Krueger's genuinely scary, genuinely menacing in that, and a new kind of monster. One that we hadn't seen before. Now, then you have the case of like the Friday the 13th movies. I'm not a big fan of them. I have seen them all.
That's almost like serial killer zombie, though. I mean, he really,
But first, in the first movie, it's not even Jason; it's his mother. Right. In the second movie, it's Jason, and he's completely human. In the third one, once again, totally human. And the fourth one, he gets done in by Corey Feldman with a machete. Special effects courtesy of Tom Savini. He was like, well, I did the first movie. I might as well do the last movie. Yes, it was called Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter.
Yeah. Now, if you're going to talk slasher movies, though, you cannot leave out the classic Norman Bates Psycho movies. Those
which are also
fuckers.
Yeah, and the thing about the Psycho sequels is that they're good. Especially the second one is 100 times better than it had any right to be.
The second one was terrific.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Psycho 2 was amazing. And it's so much later, so much later than Psycho. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And they bring him back. They fucking do it in color. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The fucking is it Anne Hesh? It's in that one, right? Anne Hesh. She's in Psycho 3. No, she's in the Psycho remake. That's who
she's in the Psycho shot for shot remake. Yeah, right. Yeah. It's Meg Tilly.
Meg Tilly. That's who it was. Meg Tilly is yeah. So she's all like super hot and super cute.
Oh my god, yummy in Psycho 2.
And that's another thing about horror movies that people don't appreciate, right? Like the whole sexual desire aspect. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because every man has a deep sense of perversion that they either tie down or they don't tie down. You know what I mean? And so like when that is addressed into the villain, or you get to feel the villain's sexual perversion, mm-hmm. right? That taps a whole nother level to where you start to feel like maybe you can relate to the serial killer to some mm-hmm. degree, like mm-hmm. you can understand where he's going or what he's going to do next. Mm-hmm. That is such a mind fuck in horror movies. It's like one of those things where where like it's especially in Psycho. I think it's the only time where you're kind of, you find yourself, like not rooting for the villain, but you don't want him to get,
Sympathizing.
but you don't want him to get caught either. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Because poor Norman Bates, man, poor Norman Bates. It wasn't him, it was his mother.
Right. It was a total mind fuck. It was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. When you
And
get
then in Psycho 2, it was his real mother.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, Psycho 2 is very very underrated, I think. Now, for a character like Jason Voorhees, what's interesting about him is, of course, you have like I was saying, you have a character that wasn't supernatural. In the fifth episode of the series, he's nowhere in there. There's a different guy who turns out to be the killer. Then in the sixth movie, that's when they bring him back as a zombie.
Yeah.
And I think it's at the seventh one. I think is where where it's kind of like Jason versus Carrie.
Right.
He fights a psychic girl. That's actually probably my favorite in the series. Although, like I said, I don't consider myself a connoisseur of that series.
If from what I got, you in the first one you get his mom. In the second one, you get Jason Voorhees coming back because he's dead as a kid.
Right.
He comes back to avenge his mom.
No, he was never dead. We find out that he was never dead in the second one. So he's actually alive in the second one.
Yeah,
and the third one,
because he comes out at the end of the first one.
It was the
water, right?
That was the police officer.
Yeah.
Then after that, in the fourth one, it's Jason. It's Jason that comes back.
Right. And then and then it gets crazy when Jason gets freeze dried and then taken to space.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. Jason goes to New York to what was it? Jason goes to Manhattan.
Yeah.
That was disappointing. Because he's on a boat during the entire thing, and then in the last 15 minutes he's in New York, and you can tell it's not even really New York; it's like Canada.
Okay, but if we're gonna go into supernatural, there's one movie we talk supernatural horror cannot be left out. It's overlooked often, probably not considered when people talk supernatural horror. One of my first earliest horror movies, Christine.
Yeah, Christine's one of my favorites.
Has held up. Actually, I wouldn't say that it's held up. I would say that it has improved with age. Yep. Time has been very, very kind to Christine. It's actually better than the Stephen King novel. It's one of the ones he wrote when he was like drunk and coked out. And it's fantastic. It's
genuinely scary.
Genuinely at times. And incredible practical effects where Christine is repairing herself.
Yeah,
those scenes are incredible.
Yes,
and in the novel, it was not the car that was possessed. It was technically like a ghost rider. There was a ghost inside the car.
Well, I think there were both. If I remember correctly, the car was like Hill House on wheels, which is to say, the car was evil and it was collecting souls. And because remember, there's a moment in that where what's the name of the protagonist again? Richie. Am I thinking?
Yes,
right? Yeah. He looks in the rear view mirror and there are ghosts of like the previous owners sitting in the back seat.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, but I mean, okay. Yeah.
I mean, I might be wrong. I might be wrong, but
it's been a long time since I read the Stephen King book. So
I remember it was a serial killer that used to kill a whole bunch of people, and he killed himself with his car.
Right.
And he came back driving the car because the car got repaired and he was hunting the car. That's how I remember it.
Well, in my mind, the book kind of makes me think that the original owner of the car killed himself in the car or died in the car and then haunted the car.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah. Well, like as if he was the car, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the movie, it's just an evil car.
Right, and the car was named, and the guy that killed himself in the car named the car Christine, and everybody just kept calling. Yeah,
and Richie, when he would drive the car, he would see the ghost of the serial killer. That he was the one influencing Richie. Wow, the movie is the freaking demon car. It's the car that's a demon, and he falls in love with the car. And to me, it was way better.
Yeah. No, I like the way the movie did it 10 times better because it makes, I mean, because first of
too.
all, I understand falling in love with a classic car.
Oh my gosh.
I
Yeah.
understand that it's happened to me. You know what I mean? So
57 Chevy, man.
Oh, a cherry red 57 Chevy.
Ah, without a doubt, without a doubt. And they wrecked, I think,
that can repair
15...
itself after you rack it. You get a fender bender that fixes itself.
I know.
That's my fucking dream car, dude. Let me tell you.
Right. Oh my goodness.
It'll get revenge on the motherfucker that keys it for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? That guy will fucking key the car, fucking thinking he's a badass, fucking walk to the parking lot. The car will fucking go run him down and then repark itself while you're fucking shopping.
Yep.
Fuck yeah, that's my dream car, dude.
Without a doubt, without a doubt. And I think they wrecked like 15 of those. What was it? Plymouth Furies? That's what Christine is a what? Like
Plymouth Fury, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But they did wreck a lot of them to, so they could repair, they could make it appear as if they got repaired. Yeah.
Right. What do we got here? The Frankenstein monster?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Just winging in my version of it.
Very cool. Very cool.
Okay, another supernatural great, Poltergeist.
The
original.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Then we're talking about ghosts. You look at something like Christine.
Ghosts are supernatural.
No. I know. But what I'm saying is that what's interesting about ghosts are a haunt things, right? Whereas something like Christine or something like Hill House, those are just evil places. You don't know exactly what they are.
Right.
You kind of suspect, there's like some demon activity going on there. Poltergeist, of course, Toby Hooper, classic, one of his classics, and a whole hell of a lot of fun. Although I haven't seen it in a while. I do have a copy of the Blu-ray. Maybe I'll bust that out tonight.
Oh man, I used to watch the first 3 Poltergeist movies so frequently that I probably have it like memorized while it's playing.
The third one is good. It's like surprisingly, and that's by
the third one has it's well cast. You see, that's the thing. It's like you got to think of, okay, this is one thing a lot of people don't realize, right? An excellent director can save a movie that has a shitty cast and a shitty script because he sees what's good about it and he can make sure that's what shines and the rest of it is downplayed. An excellent actor by himself cannot, but an excellent cast can save a shitty script and a shitty director. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
An excellent script, an excellent script can almost save a shitty actor and a shitty director. You know what I mean? But if you have an excellent script, an excellent director, and an excellent cast, you know what I mean?
Then you're golden.
Your movie is gold. Even if the subject matter is like, whatever. But I mean, you're right. Poltergeist 3 is seriously underrated. That fucking building and the way that fucking building was going, there was some serious like horror moments in there. The way the puddle fucking turned into a swimming pool,
and all practical effects, practical. Every effect in that movie is in camera. I met the director, Gary Sherman.
The use of mirrors.
Mirrors.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I met the director, Gary Sherman, when he was screening his classic Deathline, aka Raw Meat, at the Yonkers Alamo. Very nice, very, very interesting guy. I got him to sign all my shit and everything, all my DVDs and my Blu-rays. That's one I really highly recommend. That's one of the most terrifying horror films I've ever seen. It's called Deathline, aka Raw Meat. It's not supernatural, but my God.
Cat says Metropolis was the first science fiction movie.
Actually, it's not. The first science fiction movie I think is Journey to the Moon by George Méliès.
Mm,
You know that very classic shot of the moon with clearly a actor's face, and he's done up with makeup to make him look like the moon, and the ship is like fired out of a cannon like a giant bullet, and it
Are you
lands in
describing Baron Munchausen?
well, the two are related.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I
Dr. Sleep. You know what? I liked Doctor Sleep too. I actually really enjoyed that. It
I
was
like The Shining better.
oh yeah. Well, here's the thing: if you're gonna do a sequel to a Kubrick movie, don't try to make a Kubrick movie. That's why 2010 was so good. And there's this. I think the director of Mike Flanagan of Doctor Sleep took the same approach, which is don't try and one up Stanley Kubrick because you ain't gonna do it. It very much made it its own thing, and I loved how he used different actors as those characters from the original movie. For ghosts and flashbacks and all that stuff. I thought all of that was done very, very well. But yeah, no, Doctor Sleep is definitely worth seeing. I watched. Mary Shelley's in black and white. Oh well,
Okay,
there's
what about the?
Dennis
I
Frankenstein.
was going to say, what about the Ouija board movies?
I haven't fucked with those yet. But I don't intend to. They've gotten really. Here's the thing: it's the best of times.
What's the series called? Witchboard? Is that what it's called?
A Witchboard is different. Yeah, Witchboard's okay.
Aren't those the Ouija board movies?
Yes, but there's also actual Ouija board movies now. There's a Ouija board and Ouija board 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I thought you were referring to.
No, I think I've only seen the Witchboard movies.
Yeah, it's the Witchboard movies. Those were like direct-to-video horror movies during the 90s.
I saw the first one in the theater, dude.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that the first one got a theatrical release. That's interesting. Because in the 90s, horror went just straight to video.
A lot of horror did. You're right. Yes. They went straight to cable. That's where they went.
Yeah, and that too, because suddenly horror became verboten in Hollywood. If somebody made up, like Dee Snider said when he made Strangeland, that when he was promoting it, the producers told him, don't use the H word. Like literally, don't call it a horror movie. It's a psychological thriller.
Yeah, psychological thriller. That is what you use unless it's supernatural elements, because then you can't call it a psychological thriller.
Well, now horror, of course, is the biggest that it's ever been. There are more horror movies being made now than at any other time in history. That's including when we had the drive-ins.
Yeah, well, right now horror is considered one of the low-hanging fruits. You can make a horror short on a low budget, and you'll call yourself a fucking filmmaker now. So, and
most importantly, you don't need movie stars. You don't need big names, because in horror, the genre is the star, not the actor.
Yes, but also in horror, there are a lot of horror actors that specialize in horror that are out of work and will come work on your movie really inexpensively.
Yes, and there are. It actually usually is something that
and that's how they got Roddy McDowall for Fright Night, by the way.
Oh, to me, yeah. I mean, Fright Night, I love to pieces. Absolutely love that movie, but it kills me to think that part was written for and offered to Peter Cushing,
who turned it down.
Who turned it down because he was retired. Like,
right.
Oh, what a perfect swan song that would have been for him.
It would have been amazing, but Rodney McDowall
did, yeah, no, he's good. He's fine.
He did excellent. He's like one of those actors that can pretty much do anything, but except change his voice.
Yes.
Cornelius, too much of a giveaway.
yes, without a doubt. Yeah, Fright Night's fantastic. Absolutely love that movie.
And there's another adventure movie that borderlines being called a horror, and that's Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
So yeah, are you recognizing that one now? Or?
not as a not as a horror film, but it does have a horror-ish. It has a horror aspect to it. What's interesting is that it's based on a novel that's a very sort of Jonathan Swiftian satire, and the movie was played straight as a sci-fi adventure story. But yeah, no, there are horror elements to that when the apes are first revealed. And also when
It's just
Taylor finds Taylor finds his friends stuffed
right
in a natural museum. That's extremely horrific. But yeah, no. As for let's see, do you like
being hunted by apes? So forth. It's definitely a sci-fi adventure with horror elements on the
Comic Book Bob says, do you like Cushing better as Van Helsing or as Frankenstein?
That's a hard question.
That is. What's so interesting is that, I think, Christopher Lee was the definitive Dracula, and I think that Peter Cushing is the definitive Van Helsing. What's interesting about the Frankenstein series is that in those, they're much less about the monsters than they are about Frankenstein himself. In fact, Frankenstein himself is really the source of the horror, really is sort of the monster in the Hammer Frankenstein series. By the time you get to the fourth movie in this series, Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed, he's pretty much like a serial killer and a rapist. Just an absolute fiend.
I love that. Sim, that's awesome.
Splat.
I love it. That is just great.
It's one of my favorite freaking movies.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, that's a great one. Much love for John Carpenter. By the way, did have any of you read John Carpenter's Joker story?
No.
It's
I didn't know
fantastic.
there was a John Carpenter's Joker story.
Absolutely, yes. He put out a fairly I think that was just a couple of months ago that came out. It was like a Joker one shot or another number one, since Marvel and DC are always releasing new number ones. Yeah, and it was it's very good. It's about the Joker breaking out of Arkham Asylum for like the billionth time, but this time he escapes with a young criminal and sort of takes him under his wing, so to speak. And he gets Batman and Robin costumes, and the Joker dresses himself up as Batman, dresses up the kid as his sidekick as Robin, and they proceed to do various nasty, nefarious things. It has a really good ending, though. And it has something I think very very strong to say. I don't want to drop any spoilers because it really I recommend getting a hold of that and reading it. It's really terrific.
Another supernatural series of movies. The ones that have the dolls that are possessed.
Ah, yes, the Chucky series.
Chucky, Annabelle. What is it? The what's the one with all the toys?
That's what I want.
Puppet Master.
Puppet Master, yeah.
Puppet Master, yeah.
And the oh God, I would say the
Remember
Hmm?
No, it's not Dolls. Sorry.
Oh, Dolls is an excellent one.
Yeah,
No,
Dolls is a lot like Puppet Master, though. Yeah.
Yeah, but I said Leprechaun. I'm like, oh no, it was a leprechaun, not a doll.
I want me gold. I want me gold.
Nah, can't catch me. I'm a leprechaun. Can't you see?
yeah, real scary. Oh yeah, the sequel, Leprechaun in the Hood, up to no good.
Yeah.
But there's something terrifying about children's toys that become like homicidal.
Absolutely. And what's interesting about the Chucky series, the Child's Play series, is that most of the sequels are pretty disposable, but they're all written by the same guy, Don Mancini, and he actually took up directing them. And there's one called The Curse of Chucky that I recommend. That's worth seeing, which is a sort of a Southern Gothic story. I'm a big fan of the Southern Gothic stories of people like Flannery O'Connor, William Faulkner. It has a very strong element of that in it, and the animatronics in that and also in Cult of Chucky are pretty astounding. Especially in Cult of Chucky, which I don't think is a great movie, but is is worth watching if only for the animatronics. They found a way to really make Chucky look genuinely scary in those films.
Chucky got creepier as the movies progressed. I mean, I think of like Bride of Chucky, and then what was it? Is it Spawn of Chucky? No, what was the one?
Seed of Chucky.
Seed of Chucky. Yeah, that the child that Tiffany and Chucky created was creepy.
Yeah, it was
creepy.
But he didn't do the right things with him. Do you know what I'm saying? It could have played that out in much.
Yeah, it was those. That was when the Chucky movies were being very tongue in cheek, though.
Yes, exactly. There were more. They became more and more comedic, like the Evil Dead movies did. Until you get to the point with Army of Darkness, where it's not even a horror movie anymore. It's just a straight up.
Army of Darkness is great, though. Army of Darkness is a great movie.
I know a lot of people love it. I'm not especially crazy about it.
You're not a big comedy fan, though, so
no, I'm not. That's because I'm a tough case. It's very difficult to amuse me. I'd much rather, like, if I want to watch something to laugh at or laugh with, it would be something that's not supposed to be funny, like the Rambo movies. Like the second Rambo, Rambo First Blood Part 2, I think is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God. That's a sure way to have me doubled over in tears.
Yeah, but that movie, I love that movie for the raw violence. So
yeah. Oh yeah, the Full Moon movies. Yeah, during the 90s there was the Full Moon movies, which were produced by Charles Band, who was filling the void of horror products with direct-to-video horror movies, some of which are absolute garbage, and some of which are actually really quite good, and at least one or two which are classics. I think Castle Freak in particular is astounding. Yes, Cult of Chucky did have a crazy ending, and Don Mancini was very, very pissed off when they made the new Child's Play movie because he wasn't asked to participate, and he was planning on doing the next chapter, which, these days, of course, that could still happen. Since we live in an era where you can we live in the era of the reboot.
Yeah, the show was great. The last episode, because they got canceled, they were heading into something really close. Like they were going back into the Evil Dead, not Evil Dead, but Army of Darkness place with a scar at the end. But did you hear that they announced that they might be doing a new movie with him? I don't know.
Yes, I did hear that. Is Sam Raimi involved?
Supposedly.
Okay.
It's Sam Raimi and him, and I'm like, that's what I read, but it's not confirmed. So
yeah, I can't. Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
I would like to have a conclusion to that series as a movie.
That would be cool. But once again, I'm thinking if it's trying too hard to be a cult movie, it's like I would love to see a new Evil Dead if it was a horror film again. Make it a horror movie again, and then I'm absolutely.
Did you watch the Ash versus Evil Dead series at all?
No.
The new ones?
Nope.
Yeah, they're fun.
How are those?
They're fun.
Yeah,
they're fun. They're
okay.
You don't like comedy horror, so you might not like them, but they're fun.
It's a bit like Trouble in Little, like the Trouble in Little Tokyo thing, but in horror.
Oh, you're getting
Trouble in Little China, but yeah,
Big Trouble. No, wait. Well, Big Trouble in Little China, and then there's Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Yeah, sorry, I'm mixing them up.
No, that's cool. That's fine. That's
Big Trouble in Little China
Yeah.
but in the Ash world. That's a bit the series. A bit like it's fun. I love
Okay.
it.
Oh yeah, Comic Book Bob mentions the subspecies series. The first subspecies isn't that great of a movie. It's in fact it's pretty clunky. Then the second one is absolutely fantastic. Really, 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 really good. There's an actor, Andres Hove, who plays a vampire named Radu Vladislas. And Radu is the type of vampire that could never pass for human. He's like the coffin worm style vampire, with the white skin. And he's got he looks like Max Shrek with long hair. He has the rat teeth and these really long fingers that end in these scythe like claws. And the actor who plays him, Anders Hove, is a scenery chewer to the max. He said that he knew that he was playing Radu well when he would look out of the corner of his eyes and see the director, Ted Nicolau, just trying really hard not to laugh. He would, when he played that character, man, he turned it all the way up to 11. So yeah, folks, if you haven't seen the subspecies movies, definitely check those out. They're a heck of a lot of fun. And what have we here? The late Dominic Dunne being terrorized by a vengeful spirit in Poltergeist.
Yeah, I love that movie. The
Very
scene where she's trying to run down the hallway and the hallway just keeps stretching.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I reference that scene so many times in life because it's that's life often feels that way.
Tell me about it, man. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Actually, I've been live streaming for the last 3 hours. I need to go pee and get myself a cup of tea.
Go
Sure.
ahead.
All right, I'll be back.
Don't hurt yourself. Keep it attached.
I'll try not to. Hold the fort.
Shit. So let's look at Sim's screen here.
Let's do another doodle. What should I do?
You should tell people about Blood Hunt.
Oh, Blood Hunt. Yeah. Well, it's bringing vampires to the cool side again, going with the primordial type of vampires, the beast type, and we discovered that Vincent, being a fully human, top elite assassin, a bit like a John Wick type of character, that is right now working for the family called Venditti, and he's secretly dating his boss's daughter, and he gets set up on a mission that's for him to technically die, but he survives as a vampire and discovers that there was a world hidden in plain sight, filled with supernatural creatures of all type and different type of vampires. But he's dead set on vengeance, and that's all he has in mind, and doesn't care about anything else. So this is pretty much Blood Hunt.
And he's a badass.
Yeah, on his way, yeah, he meets different type of characters. That's
now. What about when he absorbs the elements of his victims?
but that doesn't work with humans. That's the thing. It's when we start the story, after he's let's say survive or dies, but becomes a vampire. he feeds off he succumbs to the hunger, and feeds off a random human in an alley, like a beautiful woman. Like all the senses went on fire, and he just blacked out and wakes up, and the deed's already done, right?
Right.
But he doesn't have the more than just fed his hunger. And later on, that's when he gets intercepted by a little troop of supernatural creatures, and there's the two vampires, there's an orc type of thing, and he feeds off of them, and that's when he discovers that when he does, he gets a higher kick. Like he learns it, he learns their memories. He can learn abilities from them. He has a little piece of them in him, like if you would bite a werewolf, but he could have some werewolf traits that he could have access to. He has some of his memories, and so on and so forth. So he decides that he will not feed on human and decides to just feed on supernatural creatures and other vampires. And that's a big no-no in the vampire community. So the council want him dead, and they also want him because he drained the blood of the ancient vampire that was supposed to kill him.
Ah,
So now they want what's in his blood and what he knows from that old ancient vampire.
that's
That's why it's called Blood Hunt. It's like he's on the blood hunt, and they're hunting for his blood.
right. So he's both the hunter and the hunted.
Exactly. And yeah, he doesn't get.
I love that premise. I love that premise. We should get together sometime and maybe even include Brian and talk about creating uh, the startings of a screenplay for that, because
Mm,
that doesn't seem like it would be a high budget movie to make. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I think it would be a type of blockbuster type of movie.
Yeah.
Like, I
Or,
miss
or
those
it's
type
hard to
of.
get. It's hard to make a horror movie a blockbuster. I mean, that's really a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have connections in the film industry and what you've made is really good, there are film festivals that you can submit the movie to, and then what happens is that the right person sees it and you create a little bidding war between studios.
Mm-hmm.
And that's and then obviously there's a technique to pre-marketing and that kind of stuff. But um, one of the things that I am looking forward to being able to do with this community as it grows is tap in more of the things. I mean, I'm more than just a writer. I also filmmaker and musician, and and I do a lot of other things too. And a lot of us are like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, limiting CG to just comic books is that's fine if you want to call the term comicscape, but it doesn't mean that people in the community are strictly just comic books. There's a lot
No,
of us that do a lot of other things.
like me, I've studied for video games and movie 2D animation and special effects.
Right. And
So I know
I can,
about
and
production.
I mean, right. I at some point, there's going to be a movie coming out of Comicsgate, whether it be a comic book movie or a horror movie or something. I mean, it actually, it may be a comic book movie, but there's a good chance that it may be a horror movie. And why is that? And that's because there's a large portion of us who are horror fans. And I think that if we got the horror community to organize a little bit, we could probably make a first small budget horror movie that would draw a lot of attention to a whole new element of Comicsgate. And obviously that would trickle over into the comic book sales and crowdfunding options. And yeah, we definitely can make things happen, but
Yeah,
right time.
it was always my dream to do comic books and do movies. Like I told you, like I've been following Robert Rodriguez for years. I even
Yeah,
followed his little movie thing that he had, like
yeah.
pre-production.
Well, if you didn't have so much on your plate, man, I'd be trying to tap your talents for my comic book ideas, because you're I fucking love your style. We've talked about that from the fucking first time I saw you drawing. I'm like, holy shit! I think the first thing I've seen of your work was the sketch cards you did or the little advertisement bit you did for Super Harem with Vincent and the chicks
Oh
at the
yeah. The milkshake incident done right.
yeah, right. Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, this guy has massive skills. I mean, he has the ability to capture all the characteristics of a person, but cartoon them just enough to where it's not like he's trying to do a painting. You know what I mean? So,
Oh, well, thanks.
yeah. Well,
I
I've
appreciate it.
told you that before. It's not like it's the first time you've heard
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I still like hearing it though. You can, yeah, no, but yeah, it's. I hope that end up finding time to do some more shit together, because I got a fucking workload
But
that.
technically, yeah, I'm trying to line up my IPs, right? I'm
Mhm.
open to have like I've been doing behind the scene like concept artwork for other people. I'm open for hiring,
Yeah,
but I
the
do have
problem,
my
the
projects.
problem is like I'm not I got all my money wrapped into fucking Captain Love production. That's where I was hoping Captain Love's first book would have done better, so that I could have I
Yeah,
could
but that's where I was going to. Like, I'm open to hiring for some stuff, and I'm also open for other projects. Except that, I do have some project that I want to get to, but I'm also going to be working on a project with Mike Murphy. So, I'm not close to people approaching me.
Right.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Well, I want you to think of me when you know that you have some bandwidth open, and we can start talking out some stuff, because I mean we'll figure it out. I mean I mean, obviously we might have to put it down, down the road because of money restraints or whatever, but I would love to get something going, because
Oh, we could definitely do a funny little crossover with Dr. Love and Nat.
yeah,
That
that
could be
would be
funny.
fun.
Oh, the Skullbusters.
Yeah, that would be fun.
You guys are talking about doing a crossover, huh? That's awesome.
We were talking about all kinds of crazy shit.
Oh, we talked about it a long time ago when we
Yeah.
first met. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Although I was telling this sidetrack conversation did start. 'Cause I was telling him that he was talking about Blood Hunt, and I was saying that Blood Hunt would be a good movie premise,
Absolutely.
and it would be something that, like one of these days, as time passes and the community gets a little bit more a little bit stronger, the three of us should sit down and work out a freaking movie script on
Mhm.
that, bounce some ideas and make it work, because we all got the skills. So.
Hey, man, CG movies. Why
Mhm.
not? Why not? Right?
That's what I was telling him. Like, I've also studied in 3D animation and digital design for movies and video games.
Yeah.
We all have different strings to our arch.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now,
Yeah.
3D animation for movies. Now, there's a studio. I'm trying to think of the name of the studio right now, but they use an animation software. They do 2D animation in a 3D environment,
Mm-hmm.
and they're able to animate like a half an hour worth of script. You know what I mean? In a day. Does that sound normal, or does that sound fast?
That
I'm
sounds
sorry.
that sounds fast.
It does sound fast.
Yeah, but we do live in a generation where people now throw out saying that the movie is fully done, but there's 12 frame animation to it. That it looks like stop motion. So I'm like,
Yeah. No, I know right now, this Saturday there's a movie, in quotes here, big quotes, that is going to be in a film festival in Hamford, and it really is a extremely poorly animated cartoon with just with
Mhm.
voiceovers, and are calling it a movie. And I mean, the animation is like here's a drawn character, flip it this way while it's talking, flip it back, move it this way, its legs don't move or anything.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, and it's not even like really even well done to that level. So I saw it. It was just, I was like, and they're putting this thing in a film festival, and I'm like, I'm
right.
like,
You'd want to like hide. You'd want to like stick your head in the ground.
so my point being is
Mhm.
that there is a lot of room for a community of creators to join forces and make some good horror content, even on a small, like, short film scale. You know what I mean? Like a little 15 to 30-minute movies, you know?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mhm.
There's plenty of room for that. And then 3 30-minute movies, or four, 5 15-minute movies can obviously be compiled into one larger movie, and then that can be put on Amazon. I got the connections to make all that happen already. It's like,
Well, look at the director of the Lights Out short, right? Which is under 5 minutes and is scary as hell. And he actually was offered to expand that into a feature, and he did, and it was actually really good. And his next assignment, I believe, his next job after that was Shazam, which was a lot of fun. So so many careers now are for filmmakers are getting started on the internet.
And I agree 100% with that statement you highlighted there. I don't remember who had said it, but I agree 100%. Robert
from
Rodriguez should
metal.
be. Yeah, guy. Rock on, bro.
And then there's Neil Blomkamp. He also started on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. You know, the guy who did District 9 and Elysium and Chappie. And also had planned a Alien sequel, like a sequel to Aliens, actually. But then, of course, that got shut down because of Prometheus. So I think we got cheated out of something that looked like it would have been awesome.
Yep.
Like there's concept art for it, and it looks like it would have been so much fun. Definitely more fun than the Ridley Scott movies that we've gotten in the series, the last two. Although I do find them enjoyable. I think people are a little too hard on those films, on Prometheus, and what's the second one? Can't even remember. Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're not. They're not great.
Yeah, the one where they're trying to go to a new place and they crash, or no, they decide to take they follow they land and they find the
I can't remember from my freaking life.
Yeah, and that says something. That tells you something.
that we can't remember.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, let's see. Comic Book Bob said VFW looks pretty good. I watched VFW the other night. That's the first movie that's been produced by the new Fangoria, which is owned and operated by Joe Bob Briggs. And if you don't know who Joe Bob Briggs is, you need to rectify that immediately. VFW cast is absolutely fantastic. It's Stephen Lang. It's Fred Williamson.
That's what it was called. Alien Covenant.
There you go. And totally forgot it. Yeah, so not horrible, but
title too, by the way.
Yeah, it's a terrible title. But VFW, it's sort of like a John Carpenter movie, but John Carpenter as a genre. It's sort of like a cross between Escape from New York, Assault on Precinct 13. So it's sort of an homage, I guess you could say. Great gore. It's definitely a splatter movie. But it's not great. I would say that you could probably you can miss it.
Quick quiz. Okay, these are the Universal monsters, right? Quick quiz.
Sort of.
Well, they're not the original Universal monsters. They represent the Universal monsters.
They do represent them. Yes, from the monster.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many monsters are in this picture?
Oh, are you counting the Invisible Man?
Well done, sir. Well done.
Yes, and we're talking about Vincent Price. Remember, Vincent Price played the Invisible Man in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. Yes. At the very end. This pick, of course,
forgotten.
Oh yeah. That pick, of course, is from the Monster Squad. That's an excellent movie. I'm always kind of amazed at the love there is for that flick. Well deserved.
It was a fun movie.
It is. Without a doubt. Oh, I hear that the new Invisible Man is supposed to be fantastic. I think they're doing what I thought they should have been doing from the beginning, which is rather than making like these big $200 million star-studded spectacles, these big tentpole movies with the Universal monsters, they're going small and doing, like $20 million movies. And, go and make those monsters scary again. And from what I hear, the new Invisible Man is fantastic.
No. There's one that was underrated that I really like was Hollow Man.
Excellent. Yeah, by Paul Verhoeven. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kevin Bacon was a dick in that movie.
Yes.
Yes.
And Josh Brolin at the very beginning of his career. Yeah, no, I mean
Josh Brolin at the beginning of his career. No, we're talking Goonies. Is Josh Brolin?
Oh, okay.
Of his career.
Oh, was that really?
Yes.
Wow.
That was. You don't remember that brother? That was Josh Brolin.
I've never seen the Goonies.
You've never seen the Goonies? Jesus, what kind of horror fan are you?
The Goonies isn't horror.
Yes, it is.
It's a children horror movie.
It's a horror movie. It's just not scary.
It's
back then
we had children horror movies.
Oh yes. Well, I have a real affection for horror movies that are aimed at children, and very often they're R-rated. So they're not officially for children. Phantasm, for instance, I think is a fantastic children's
Mhm.
horror. Maybe the best children's horror film ever made.
Yeah, I
And
like the Gremlins.
Time Bandits. Time Bandits.
Gremlins were perfect for like kids.
I don't consider Gremlins a children's horror movie.
horror.
No, you don't.
No,
Invaders from Mars, the original Invaders from Mars, that's a fucking horror
but
movie.
I do consider Time Bandits a children's horror movie.
That's interesting.
Mhm.
I love Time Bandits.
Time Bandits has got so many scary elements to it.
It does. It does. So I wouldn't call it a horror movie, but I would say it has horror elements for certain.
Yes.
Yeah, Wolfman's got nards. Yeah,
that's like saying Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie, but it's got Christmas elements in it.
well,
Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Point taken. Yeah.
Same for Gremlins.
Yeah. Controversial opinion. Gremlins 2 is better than Gremlins.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah, I would say yes. I would say that a lot of the classic elements in the first Gremlins movie was lost in the second Gremlins movie. That they were overlooked. It was just
Yeah, I just think the second one is just so completely out of control and anarchic.
Yeah, they definitely. That's another one. I felt like that was almost inspired by Poltergeist 3, that movie, because there's a lot of like similar elements between those two movies.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And of course, it's also got Christopher Lee. It's got actually a bunch of cameos in there because it's directed by Joe Dante, who's like the cameo king.
Right.
Let's see. It's hard to get those Hammer Draculas on Blu-ray. Yeah, the Hammer movies are coming out on Blu-ray slowly but steadily. Right now, if you are a Blu-ray collector like I am, it's a great time for Spanish horror. All the Paul Naschy films have been coming out. Paul Naschy, he's known as the Spanish Lon Chaney.
Mm-hmm.
He played a werewolf named Valdemar Daninsky. And I want to say, was it 12 movies? And, played up virtually every other monster, played Dracula, played, I think played the Mummy. I'm not sure if he ever played the Frankenstein monster, but he was not only a writer, a director, and an actor, he was also, I think, an ambassador for horror. And we were talking before about samurai movies with supernatural elements. One of the best films in his Valdemar Daninsky werewolf cycle is The Beast and the Magic Sword, which was a Spanish-Japanese co-production in which his character, Valdemar Daninsky, goes to feudal Japan looking for a cure to his curse and encounters all manner of samurai mayhem. And a silver sword, which finally may free him from his curse. But yeah, if you're a Blu-ray collector, it's actually they're box sets of the Paul Naschy films. Absolutely fantastic. That's another reason why it's such a great time to be a horror fan. Oh my God, you can get a hold of almost any movie, and you're seeing them like you've never seen them before. Lucio Fulci's Zombie, for instance, is so crystal clear. You can actually see like little details on like the zombies' faces, like the makeup. You'll see like a little piece of gauze sticking out. Which is interesting because someone might say, well, maybe that's a little too much detail. Maybe the movie looks too sharp. Maybe because I know some people say they prefer like the muddier looking version of Night of the Living Dead, for instance. Those aren't going anywhere. You can still always throw those in the VCR, but on Blu-ray, it's like watching old favorite films for like not for the first time, but like in a new way. I know I'm old school, being an analog media collector.
Analog. You know, you gotta have like 35 millimeter freaking film. You're gonna be analog.
Yeah, no,
Technically, Blu-ray is digital. Just so you know.
yes, yeah, but it's physical media, which the younger generation is so not down with.
Versus having it in the cloud. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that there's certainly a place for that. I understand it's the future. I just like having physical copies of things, especially if it's something that's like there's certain movies that I own in every format except Laserdisc.
I personally would rather have everything backed up on CD or something like that cannot be damaged by an EMP.
Exactly.
Although the whatever it is that I would watch it on will be damaged by the EMP. So it's almost pointless.
I know. Oh man. Yeah, it's it's so wonderful. Like once again, having access to just about everything.
My friend has his bomb shelter lead lined that supposedly can stop the electronic pulse.
Yes,
so
really?
He's got like a whole collection of like electronics down there that supposedly will survive an EMP. So
if I had FU money, I would definitely be a doomsday prepper. Not because I think that there's an impending apocalypse, but just because it looks like so much fun.
If I had FU money, I would have like everything I own off the grid entirely. You know what I mean? Where like and then I would take that FU money and I would buy a piece of land out in the middle of the United States somewhere, in the forest somewhere that and just like live there and avoid the world.
Yeah, part of me would like
but
to
I would
do
have
that.
to have FU money, because if I don't have FU money, I really feel like I need to have a walking distance from a 7-Eleven.
Right. Oh, come up with Bob says Lucio Fulci opinion. Okay, Lucio Fulci, in case you folks don't know, is considered the Italian master of the splatter movie, the Wizard of Gore, as it were. Interesting thing about Fulci: when his movies were available only on VHS in the States, he definitely had a cult following, but he was never taken seriously as a filmmaker. And I always considered him a bit of a hack. I enjoyed his movies, but I enjoyed them because they're really sick and tawdry. And there's something I like about sleaze, about Italian sleaze in particular. That's what I love about the Italians. They made the best Westerns, best art films, best horror movies, but they also made the best trash. Like even their trash was good at that time.
You gotta be more specific. You mean they're because I mean he doesn't mean like he doesn't mean like the stuff they're throwing away in garbage cans.
Well, like here, let me put it this way: the way that they would make movies back then was they would have an artist draw up a bunch of posters with titles that they'd come up with, and they take it to a trade show like Cannes Film Festival or something like that, right? And so the distributors would be walking around, and if they were like looked at a poster and went, "Oh, that looks good," like, when's that going to be ready? Like, I'll definitely take that. And then they would be like, okay, and whatever movie got the most attention, they go back home to Italy and call up a guy named Dardano Sacchetti and tell him, okay, we need you to like write a script in like 2 weeks based on this poster and this title. And one of them is Zombie 2. Dawn of the Dead, when it was released in Italy, was released under the title Zombie. I don't know how they legally did this. Obviously, the laws are copyright laws are very, very different in Italy, because immediately rushed into production was Zombie 2, totally unrelated. It's known here as just Zombie. It was also released in England, I think, as Zombie Creeping Flesh. And I would say that that's the definitive Lucio Fulci movie. Once his movies got on DVD, suddenly he became a genius. His reputation as a filmmaker changed overnight, because now you could see those movies the way that they were meant to be seen, and they looked astounding. Especially now. Let's see. What else is he known for? Of course, City of the Living Dead, which is also known as, was released here on VHS as Gates of Hell, which has teleporting zombies. Now, okay, fast zombies, stupid, yeah, but you'd be definitely, you would have your hands full with them. Teleporting zombies,
that's crazy.
Fucked.
The zombies that scare me the most from any zombie movies is got to be is it 24 what 20 the British movie where the zombies not 28 hours
28 days later.
20 not 28 days later, because that was the second one, right?
No, that was 28 weeks later.
That was 20. Okay, so that's the first one. 28 days later, then, yeah.
Yeah, but they're not zombies. They're the infected. Yeah, they're not zombies. They're the infected.
Right.
And for practical purposes, story writing purposes, they're zombies, but technically they're not.
Yeah. That movie was remotely scary.
Oh, fantastic.
Fully creepy.
Yeah, really creepy, really, really scary. And of course,
but I hated the way it ended. They totally gave it a zombie movie end. The classic zombie movie end.
Yeah, they could have. Are you talking about the first one or the second one?
First one.
Oh, okay. I thought the ending
when they take it to the island and the island's already inhabited. Yeah.
Oh no, that's not 28 Days Later. You're thinking of the remake of Dawn of the Dead.
No, I'm thinking of the one where they have the. No, they get into the. You're right. I'm mixing the movies up in my head because the.
Yeah, that's okay.
Boat. And 28 days later, what is it? They go. What the fuck? I know that they
hunker down and the
at the base with the jacked up GI Joe dudes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it runs its course, and they survive.
Yeah, I am mixing those two movies up in my head. Yeah, it's that scene. It's that scene where they because it's almost like similar lighting and similar setting where the scene where the father in 28 Days Later looks up and gets the blood drop in his eye.
Yes.
Compared to the scene when they're all in the truck.
Oh no, wait. I'm sorry. That's Brendan Gleeson. Yeah, that's in 28 Days Later. Yeah, he's used wonderfully in that because, of course,
in my defense, I've had maybe 3 hours sleep. So.
Oh, and dude, you're not like a hardcore horror fan, so
I'm a hardcore fan. I'm just not a trivia master.
Well, I mean, the fact that these movies might bleed one into the other, that's not uncommon, I would think. So you get a pass, brother. You get a pass. But I was talking about zombie. The zombies in that are really, really creepy because the special effects are so much better than the special effects that are used for the zombies in Dawn of the Dead. Now, Dawn of the Dead's probably the greatest movie ever made. I never get sick of it. It's definitely in my top 3.
You like the black and white one the best, right?
Night? No, I love Night, but Dawn is my favorite.
Oh, Dawn Dawn of the Dead. That's the
one in the mall,
right? The one in the mall, right?
Yeah.
And Night of the Living Dead. There's the black and white one. Then there's the one from the 80s with the punk rock chick who was super hot and did
the guy from Candyman.
Yeah.
That's Return of the Living Dead, which isn't Romero. Right. But doesn't pretend to be a Romero movie, and I love that one.
Oh, dude, it's great.
Awesome.
I know.
And if you're a punk rocker like I was when that came out, you were really fucking happy with that soundtrack and actually seeing punks on screen fighting zombies.
The remake of Night of the Living Dead is the one with the guy from Candyman, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, Tony Todd. And what's interesting about that one is the screenplay is by George Romero.
Yep.
So it's written in such a way that it's assuming that you know Night of the Living Dead by heart, because every beat in that movie is basically messing with your expectations, but like in a very clever way, right? Where you think it's going to turn left, but it turns right. And it also emphasizes the fact that Ben, as awesome of a guy as he was wrong, and he got them all killed. Yep. And yeah, Tony Todd's fantastic in that. They're doing a new woke remake of Candyman. I really have no interest in.
Really?
How can you do a woke remake? Is it be called Candy Chick?
It's a
no. The problem is that here's the thing: Candyman is problematic, right? That's a big SJW term. It's problematic because he falls in love with a white woman.
How's that become problematic?
Don't ask me. I'm not an SJW.
Because for some reason it would seem that
Isn't that like diversity? Isn't that what they're looking for?
Well, here's the thing. I don't know what they're looking for other than to just like fuck with our art and fuck with and destroy people's lives if they don't comply. So that's the thing that always drove me crazy about political correctness. Same fucking thing. Where is the book? There should be a book that comes out every year. You need the fucking rules. But of course, this is America, so the rules change as you play the game. And it also helps keep people on their toes. And it also, best of all, makes artists self-censor themselves. And I think that's a huge victory for the SJWs.
Yeah, especially it makes writers and censor themselves. And
it's the same thing with comedy. It's like that's one of the things in my book, right? As dark as it gets, as violent and gore as it gets, I try to make it funny. Not funny as a joke, but like
jolly.
Yeah, remember with Shoot 'Em Up? How you kill people? Like, it's not that it was made to be a joke, but it was funny.
Right. Yeah. No, Blood Hunt looks jolly. That would be the word that I would use to describe it.
Like the Joker is, like he makes you feel bad for a few seconds that you're laughing at how he just gruesomely killed somebody, like the shot to the head part.
Yep. Let's see.
While we have a lull in the conversation, I want to draw attention to obviously Blood Hunt, which you need to back because Sim's book is awesome and it's going to be delivered. It's going to be great.
Yep.
I have a book here that I finished reading by Mr. Brian Christgau, and not only is he a trivia master, he's also a great storyteller. This book has excellent moments in it. This book here is not available. However, Homeboy is launching his campaign for his next book tomorrow. Are you going to launch it here on Indie Comics Interviews tomorrow, or are you going to do another show first? Or
I don't know. I think I might be a little too happening for you now, Drew. Might be a little too happening.
Star fucker.
No, of course, dude. Absolutely, I would love to. You've been so awesome and so kind to me. You helped me get my sea legs when it came to YouTubing. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. So,
all right, we'll try and make a party of it. Sim, you going to be able to make it tomorrow?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's try and get some hands on deck and make a noise and maybe cycle some people through. Make sure you invite everybody. What time is good? I know you probably have some other shit lined up tomorrow also, right?
Like nothing in stone, but Mandy wants to have me on. And
is Mandy doing a show tomorrow? She's doing a Tuesday show.
I'm not sure. Yeah. I have to hear back from her. And,
well, if she's not doing a show, just invite her on to the party.
That works. That works. Yeah. And the graded 0.5 people.
All right. Well, and then their show they'll just follow up whatever we're doing. They'll probably go on like at 9 or 10 my time. So
they usually go around 10. Yeah.
Okay. That works. dude, I am excited for this. I have
And then
I have
Sim and I'll go over. Well, Sim and I'll go over to Graded Point 5 with you, and get you hassled into that mix, and then
Can I tell you something, Brian?
hell yeah, yeah, sure.
I haven't drawn gorillas in a long time, but you know what? I'm a big fan of Monkey Man and O'Brien and stuff. You
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So yeah, I might be doing a fan art soon.
Oh hell yeah, I'd love to see that.
I have that one and the one for Devil Blade that I want to do. So yeah, I'll put that on my list.
Sweet. Awesome. I'd love to see that, Simon. You're a terrific artist. You're not just, I mean, your line work's great, but you're a very good visual storyteller. And I'm a big fan of the approach to comics where even if you don't speak the language, even if you if let's like watching a movie with the sound off, if you can still follow the story, that's good filmmaking. And if you can like read a comic without reading any of the words, that's good comic book making.
Well, thank you. And let's get it to over 10K. 10K.
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
that gets a physical copy, right, gets a sketch card by yours truly, fully inked. So
I have to check and actually make sure that I have backed that, because that's a terrible. I'm glad I'm not the only person that this happens to, but there are books that I don't immediately back because I'm broke, and
you have to go back to them.
Yeah, exactly. But then I forget to go back to them. Like I click the follow button, and then I'm like, who's that talking?
That's Darla.
Darla.
Yeah, I would probably also like mention that when you know that one campaign is closing soon and you've backed it, go back to make sure that it went through, because sometimes it hasn't. It happens too. Those empty spot that we have, like
yeah.
Sometimes they're like transactions that the banks go no.
That's true. No, that's absolutely true. But I think you're definitely going to hit 10K. And what's wonderful is I think that once that people get this book, they're probably going to be really happy with it, and then you will have customers coming back. And
we need to start doing some pushing on this book. We need to start doing some pushing. So
right now it's because if we get a 10, it's going to be 72 page the book, and right now it's already 70 page of story.
Quick question: have you been on Antonio's stream yet?
I've been in the beginning, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Antonio's a great guy. You also might want to hit Clint Stoker up. He's good about having people on.
If you can get in touch with him, I've tried to get on Sweetcast for a while, and
tried and nope.
Yeah, no response.
He's a little too happening for us right now. Look, I'm sure that folks like him get buttloads of email.
Well, what we need to do is before he's got you got like 2 or 3 weeks left before you wrap up, Sim.
Yep.
Yeah. So maybe next week, like you're launching this week. You know what I mean? I'm launching in a few weeks. You know what I mean? Like 3 weeks. So next week would be a good week to try and to concentrate on Blood Hunt really hard. We'll see if we can. We'll make a big noise here. We'll see if we can get Graded Point 5 to make a big noise. We'll see if we can get everybody else to make a big noise, and then let's see if we can get RGE to pull Sim on, and we'll go on and chill and see if we can get him to because we need to close this down hard and well. You know what I mean? This book is one of those that Sim is obviously everywhere. Everybody knows who he is, but he's so busy drawing and doodling and promoting other people's shit that he's forgetting to promote his own shit.
Yeah, I know, and he's.
Don't worry, man. That'll come back to you in a very, very positive way. But yeah, no, it's like that's just a part of what we're doing at CG. You gotta hustle and get out there and pimp yourself. But I think it says a lot about you, Simon, that you're working, busting your ass so much that you're not maybe doing as much self promotion as you could or should.
Yeah, Drew's not the only one giving me shit about it.
Well, dude,
I'm guilty of it too, but when I do it, it's
somebody
constant.
else than us do, and when you're minded, it's like it's two different type of mindset. Like
totally
chilling for somebody, for people, like and then you, it's like,
dude. I suck at self promotion.
Thanks, Metal.
It's like I'm not the artist, right? I'm just the writer. So what I do is I focus on the art, and I'm good at hyping other people's stuff. So that's kind of what I focus. But people tell me that nice things that Drew was saying. Clint Stoker said it's the best written crowdfunded comic that he's read so far. Shit like that. It just makes you feel embarrassed. Do you know what I mean? Like bashful, kind of like I don't want to look people in the eye when they're. I'm not good at taking compliments. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not that used to them neither.
Well, you're gonna get a lot for this one, man. You're gonna get a lot for this one, and I think that these are all things that we can learn. These are learned behaviors. We became like this, because of conditioning, and we can get out of it with conditioning.
It's like I was telling somebody's like, what happens if you ever get a millionaire? Would you stop doing and hire people to do your characters? Like, no, nothing would change. Nothing would change. I'd still be sitting on my desk doing this.
Absolutely.
Nothing would change except he would probably have like a few hot girlfriends and
concubines.
Concubines.
Yeah, at least one vacation a year.
Yeah. No, I would
nicer clothes. He might actually wear a shirt once in a while.
I do.
Buy a replica.
Are you wearing one right now, Sim?
No.
Okay, my point is made. Case closed.
Folks, Simon is drawing without a shirt. He's drawing shirtless. Now that's some manly shit right there. That's why Blood Hunt looks like it's absolutely high tea, just like infused with toxic masculinity.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Go back this toxic book.
Go back this toxic book.
To us. Not toxic to us. You know what I mean?
I know.
Toxic to certain kinds of folks. We know the ones I'm talking about.
It's like I was
Metal. You are watching CG horror talk.
Yeah, this is the first one.
This is the first official CG horror thing. We've been doing horror talk for a few weeks, but this is official CG horror now.
We said it in the beginning, and we even started our little DM group. Going to start adding people very soon, but we'll.
And you got the hashtag right. CG horror is the hashtag. Correct.
Yep. I don't know why we didn't. Who thought of this?
Sim.
What the hell is wrong with you, Drew? What the hell is wrong with me? What the hell is wrong with us?
No,
we didn't think of that.
You know what? I did not think of hashtagging it at all for some stupid reason.
I know, me neither.
Yeah, it just came and like I did a post, right? And I'm like, hey, let's just tag everything that we've been doing, right? And then I'm like, CG. I'm doing CG manga, right? And I'm like, oh, we're doing CG horror. Like he just invited me to the thing. I'm like, and I did the tag the other day. I'm like, well, hey, and I told him, what do you think that we do CG horror instead of? And he goes, yeah.
I'm like, that makes a lot of sense.
As long as you're on it, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you got to. Yeah, Sim belongs on this show with us. So,
most definitely.
Yeah,
I'm a huge horror guy. Yeah, not as much as Brian. Because Brian's
a little bit of a virtuoso on the subject matter. So.
Believe me, it's not by design. It's just something that you aspire to. It's something that happens to you.
I fell into the black box pit too.
Yeah,
The-
man.
we
I
all
had,
have.
I had a black box store where you could go and get all the horror and type of
Yeah.
movies.
Just
My
shoot.
it's funny. My friend Anthony does the Black Box TV channel on YouTube. It's nothing but like horror shorts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he used to make one a week. It used to be like something that
Right.
the YouTube community used to do.
You see, I got two friends that do like little independent horror. One of my friend is the one behind Black Flag movies.
Oh, nice.
Well,
Is
we're
it-
going to start. One of the things that we're going to start doing on here is we're going to actually start inviting, movie directors, horror movie makers to
Mhm.
come and be interviewed, because obviously we want to expand our audience.
Of
I know
course.
a few. I know a few directors, and obviously some people, and there's a shitload of people on YouTube. And Hale, we have another person who joined the stream here.
Hey,
guys.
Vinny! What's
that?
up?
Hey, Vinny.
Hello, how's everybody doing?
Yo,
We're doing
Vinny.
good.
Hail the Taint King. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna give up. That's not catching on.
No, it's not. It's not catching on.
Come on.
Sorry, buddy.
I tried, but Hail Boner King.
The Boner King. During this campaign, you could even call him the Woodmaster.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Welcome, Vinny. Good to
That's a
see you. Good to see you, man.
Good seeing you guys too. Hey, Sim.
How's it
Yeah.
going?
Oh, not too bad.
Drew, I just shot you 2 links.
Well,
We
hold
were
on.
talking about Lucio Fulci. I shot them to you via the Twatter.
Yeah, that's the way to get him to me, because the other way, you usually send him, I can't click them.
Yeah. I caught on eventually. I'm pretty dense, but eventually I catch on.
Let's see here. Let's go to.
Lucio Fulci.
So, what have I been missing over here?
Well, we've been talking about how this show has now recently, well, tonight has been transitioned to the official CG horror show now. So it's CG
Cool.
horror talk, and Sim is now going to be an official regular. So
Beautiful.
yeah. So and
Yeah.
we're gonna focus on, obviously not exclusive CG projects, but we're, you know what I mean. But we're CG, and we are gonna try and focus all on CG horror stuff and CG, but we're gonna
Monster
also
books.
We're gonna talk
Yeah.
about movies and stuff still.
right.
I like it.
Metal Movies and Brewski says, I'm doing a horror western on Indiegogo this summer. That sounds great, man. Western horror. That sounds fantastic. I'm
Very nice.
totally down for that. Those are 2 genres I think that go together very well. One example being, since we were talking about the supernatural, High Plains Drifter,
Mhm.
right? Where Clint Eastwood comes back from the dead. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna shut up now.
Well, I had the sound off so they could hear you.
I'm
He was just gonna play that on a loop.
yeah. Just.
You
keep
praise
talking.
Hail Kelsey, man. Praise Hail
Keep
Kelsey.
talking.
It's like Brian's shut up button is put that video on.
That's good
You
to know.
you just get a wiggling butt in front of Brian, and he goes quiet. What's up with that?
Okay. New York Comic Con, right? I'm talking to somebody, and I see this young African American lady walking by, and she's I don't know like what character she was cosplaying, but she was in a cosplay outfit, and had this absolutely magnificent onion-shaped masterpiece of a derriere.
Mhm.
And as she's walking by, I just like raised my finger to the person I'm talking to, like this, like just hold on a second. I just followed it and was like, okay, we can continue talking now. I mean, I remember when you would go to comic book conventions and it'd be nothing but like stinky guys with like really bad hygiene and acne who didn't brush their teeth.
Yeah, but the problem is those people got rich, so then we.
There you go. And now they're like, haha, not just chicks, right? Because first of all, you like that the fandom is expanding. The
Right.
thing that the comic book industry ever did was abandoning its female audience.
Mhm.
Right? Romance comics, Archie comics, those are very popular once upon a time.
Right.
And it's right. And
Back through the woods today on Indiegogo.
It's like a Quentin Tarantino movie.
yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons why manga outsells American comics 10-1 is because girls and young ladies they don't connect with American comics, but they connect with the Japanese stuff that's written specifically for their demographic.
Right. This is true.
So I mean, and that's what like I was talking before about CG, how wonderful it is that we have like this diversity of genres. You, Vinny, are a genre hopper like I am, and that's fantastic. That way, you keep things fresh and
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I was going to say that exactly. Yeah, you want to keep things fresh. If it's always the same shit over and over, how are you going to expect to entertain people if they're sick of it, or if they go, okay, well, this project is something I didn't really gravitate towards, or are they gonna? You don't want them just jumping to another creator altogether and abandoning you. No, you want them to still go, okay, oh wait, oh shit, he's got something different. Wow, this one appeals to me, because there have been other creators and stuff that I really like, but I wasn't too keen on whatever the project is at the moment, but it's like, the following one sounds super cool. I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait for that.
Right. So that way it's like City of Venus may not be for this person, but then Through the Woods will be for that person.
Right.
And then people that will be into everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Vinny, you want to make the elevator pitch that you're making on every channel?
For Through the Woods.
Yeah, I know you've done it a million times, but
I need to go because it's going to be Blunt Talk in a few minutes.
Hey, yeah, we'll see you over there in a few minutes, man.
Cool.
Peace out, Simon.
Later, brother. Through the Woods. This is a ghost story. It centers around Laura Langley. She's an investigative journalist who actually inherits this property in upstate New York. It's a lot of land, and she was confused why her other relatives kind of skipped on it. But she ends up finding out that it was a loggers camp about 100 years earlier. There was some horrible things that happened. And she actually finds out that this place is haunted. And she gets led down into this old cabin on the property. And that's where she accidentally reawakens a restless spirit. So that's kind of like the start of the story and where it goes. I don't want to give too much away of what ends up happening, but needless to say, you're going to see the events that happened 100 years prior, the tragic moments that went down, and how it's still affecting even today. So it's a cool little murder mystery in there. But yeah, this is a contained story, so you're going to get the beginning, the middle, the ending all in one shot. This is 100 pages. It's hardcover. This project happened because everybody wanted it. I kept getting messages left and right. Is there any way I could get Through the Woods? So I decided, I'll do a campaign. I'll do a collected edition, and just for doing a collected edition was special to me. But on top of it, if I could make it extra special, I wanted to. So I had a stretch goal to hit a hardcover and to make it oversized, because I'm a big fan of European books. I'm a big fan of Enrico Marini, who more recently people have been jumping on him now because he's been doing DC stuff. He did 2 Batman books, but I was a big fan of his for, I want to say, maybe 15, almost 20 years now. Amazing artist. He had a book called Raptors, but I wanted to have something that felt like that. Because the story is all there, and I wanted that larger format so you could really appreciate all the detail that I put into the book. So I made it a stretch goal, and we hit that stretch goal very quickly. So this whole thing got upgraded immediately, and I even changed the title of the campaign to Through the Woods hardcover collected edition so everyone knows that there's no confusion when you go there. This is what you're going to get starting at $35. This amazing fucking book.
Can I just say real quick that has to be like the coolest stretch goal that I've come across, and it's one of those things that would seem obvious, except then you're like, well, shit, why didn't I think of that? I may have to steal that from you, brother. That's fantastic. I mean, when we found out, we were like jonesing. We were like, oh man, let's get it this much farther. Then we're going to get a hardcover. I mean, that's that encourages people also to maybe nudge their friends a little.
I so too. And yeah, I mean, because you don't see that many hardcover books. The ones who've been doing it, someone like the Dirtworm, they're trying to really bend over the customer on shipping, quote unquote, shipping charges. My shipping prices are pretty much the same as my last campaign, because you have to hit a certain weight. If you go over it, then it's going to go up, but it's not going to go up as much as that guy's claiming.
No, it only goes up like $1 for the next 2 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy's he's totally full of shit, and he's really taking advantage of the customer, and it drives me nuts. That's why I've heard a few places like, don't do hardcover unless you hit 6 figures. I'm proof that that's not the truth. That's not the case. I did my numbers, and I know how much is going into printing. It is a huge amount. But again, this is my 5th campaign, so I know what I'm doing when it comes to this kind of thing. And yeah, you're gonna get a fucking beautiful book, hands down, and it's more proof that Dirty Doug is dirty. He's full of shit.
Yeah, he is.
Hey, Vinny, this thing I would love for you to do for your campaign, so that when I bring it up and I'm talking about it, I can flash it to that. And that would be for you to, on your campaign, possibly somewhere. Oh, you know what? Never mind. You've already done it, you dick.
Can you just give me a second?
There's the picture of the book right there.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
When did you put that up there?
Maybe almost 2 weeks ago.
Okay,
something like that. I think I had it on the last update. I put it up, I believe.
Okay, because it wasn't up there the last time you were on my show when I streamed down to it. So.
Yeah, probably not.
But there it is. This is the book right there, the hardcover, the beautiful book. Look at that shine, that sheen, those beautiful colors, that pop.
Yep.
That is a beautiful book. 98 pages, oversized hardcover collected edition.
Yep.
You need
fantastic.
Yeah, you definitely need this book.
And look, you can get this book for the low price of $35 plus shipping.
Mm-hmm.
That's cheaper than a fucking bookstore. You understand?
Absolutely.
That book would be $50 in a fucking bookstore.
Minimum,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yep.
It really would be. And for $5 more, you get it signed by the creative team, my brother Frank and myself. So
it's a must buy. If you have not backed it yet, make it on your list. Draw yourself a note. You know what I mean? Somehow remind yourself, because once Vinny pulls it, you know what I mean. You don't know if he's going to be able to keep it in demand or not, because obviously he's got to print ahead on these hardcovers.
Yeah,
and it's not cheap to keep these in stock. So
that's right. Yeah, I'm going to have a certain number. So by the time the campaign is ending, I'll know what I'll have. So if it does stay in demand, it'll be for a short window. Because like Drew said, this isn't something I could keep on hand at all times, because it costs a lot to go back, especially for printing a hardcover. It's way more than a traditional book. So, but that's why I keep urging people too. If you're going to back it early. If you do it by March 19th, and we hit that 25K, you're going to be guaranteed a free 20-page ash can that's going to have other CG artists in there who were a part of the war campaign drawing stream for Through the Woods. Kelsey Shannon's piece is going to be the cover to that. This is going to be an ultra rare, amazing piece, because as we're looking at it right now, there's about 403 backers, so that's 403 books that I'm doing for that ash can. And that's pretty much it. Like I'm not going crazy high. Like obviously,
some of those backers, at least 6 of them are 2 signed books. Yeah, at least 6 of them. So
Oh, of course. Well, yeah, and that tier that is a slightly newer. That's why I think the numbers are so low on it. But I should showcase that more when I'm talking about the campaign. But yeah, that way you save on shipping for sure. Because I know a lot of people they want to get doubles. And and with that you're going to get doubles of whatever free stuff we unlock. Because again, if we hit 25, let's say in another day or two or something, well, just throwing it out there, I'm going to put another stretch goal in there. So like if we hit it before the 19th, you're going to get even more free shit. So because right now we have we got the bookmark. When we hit 25, I am gonna put an extra special mystery gift in there for everyone.
you got me a gift? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I haven't mentioned what it is.
Gift.
Yeah, it's gonna be a mystery gift. It's gonna be a ponytail. No. But yeah, I'm going to add something for everybody. We don't need a cutoff on that. It's just as long as we hit 25, you'll get it. But we have to hit 25 by the 19th. Otherwise, the ash can is not going to happen. So that's like my only kind of like, stipulation that I'm doing with this. Because I want to reward early backers. And I think that's the best way of doing it.
Vinny, you are not only one of the realest guys ever, you are also an innovator. I think that you're doing a lot of things with your campaign that are going to become maybe standard for other people's campaigns in the future.
Possibly. That'd be cool.
I mean, the stretch goal of like suddenly going, okay, we're going from trade paperback to hardcover.
Mm-hmm.
That's genius. It's so simple.
Thanks,
and yet
man.
Yeah, it's like that, and I think that's more. Like I said, you're doing stuff that I think is going to inspire other CG creators, and of course, we're all going to try to come up with like our own things. But once again, that's totally cool, and it's nice to see that you've hit 22,000. That's still not enough, but you got 17 days left, so that's you still got a chance to.
So what's the stretch goal for the ash cans? 25K.
Yeah, 25.
Let's get it to 25, folks. Let's get it to 25.
Other than last night, have you been on RGE's channel? Other than last night?
Yeah. I was on his channel twice. Well, all right, so last night was 3 times. But yeah. We did a spotlight on Through the Woods. I did pretty good on that night as well. And then I popped up another time on his channel, and we were just kind of shooting the shit and having a good time. But yeah, he's a great guy, and I'm super proud of him for what he's been doing.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
No, I am also proud of him. He, like a lot of us, has a tendency to ignore promoting himself.
Mm-hmm.
And so like and like last night, I was already supposed to help him, shill his book like in the morning for afternoon or whatever for a couple of hours, and then he got himself hooked into that 24-hour stream.
Yeah.
And I was all like, all right, you know what? He's gonna need a co-host. So I was all like, dude, I will hang, and and until not needed, and so I did the first 12 hours with him, stepped out so Ethan and Cecil could come in, and then I took a nap, and then I woke up from my nap, and it was him and Liam just talking.
Beautiful. Yeah. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy to do something like that, but you know what? It paid off. It's legendary.
He has basically new standards to a first launch hard push. I mean that I don't know if any other hard push first launch has gone to 24-hour stream on a launch like that.
Yeah, man. And he was doing steady like between 400 and 600 viewers, like almost the entire time.
Yeah, the lowest I saw it get was like 360 something. Is the lowest I saw, and I was watching. So.
Yeah. And I'm sure it didn't stay there for long.
We did the math. I think you were in the stream when I calculated the math. I mean, it seriously did the math. So like even at like let's say 300, playing safe, 300 viewers for the whole 24 hours, that's 7,200 hours of watch time for the channel. That is enough to get your monetized numbers for almost 2 years in a 24-hour period.
Holy crap!
I hadn't thought of that. God damn, Drew.
Holy shit, right?
Yeah. God damn.
Like I said, legendary.
Yeah, so, trust me, YouTube noticed. YouTube noticed.
I'm sure
Yeah.
Streamer did too. They're probably
Yeah.
right. What are you?
He pulled the stream down too because it probably was fucking with this algorithm.
And here's the thing: whenever somebody does something historic or legendary like this, obviously you feel great for them.
Mhm.
They've accomplished something great, but they've also accomplished something for the community.
Yeah.
Right. And hell yeah, man! You know, it's what, the beginning of March, and just, I mean, CG is just fucking killing it.
Yeah.
Killing it.
It is, and it's going to keep going up. Like I said, there's so many great projects, so many awesome people, and the thing is that I think this year is really important because we are all coming together extra strong.
Yes.
You know?
Hell
we
yeah.
don't have to rely so much on one or two channels or anything like that, and that's
Yep.
not what we've been doing. We know we have to grow, and having fun like this, having these little streams, we're all getting noticed, you know. And people are appreciating it because they're getting to know who we all are, and they see how
Yeah.
fucking real we are.
Yes.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that we should start getting inflated heads. I think we should still play it smart. Like with my Captain Love campaign, I'm still gonna be playing it smart. I'm still not expecting to, you know, in a 60-day period, I'm not expecting to get more than like $3,500. You know what I mean?
But again, no one. I don't think anyone is getting a big head. That's the point that I'm making. Is
Exactly.
we're all doing
Exactly.
this together because what's going on is it's a gradual build. No one's going, oh my god, or even like, let's say Raging Golden Eagle, that he hit that 52. He didn't get an ego out of that.
No, he's very humble about it. He didn't expect to get anything near that. So.
Well, this is what I mean, right? And with each of my campaigns too, I've not once have I budged from who I am. You know, and they're not monster numbers, but they're very fucking solid numbers. I'm proud of that. But at the same time, I thank everybody all the fucking time. And I'm never acting like I'm better than anyone else. I'll still get almost anybody on my fucking stream.
Oh, speaking of going on your stream, I need to come over again. At least 2 times in the next couple of months. One before I launch Captain Love, if that's okay, if you can squeeze me in somewhere, and one after. You know what I mean?
And one after. Look at this guy. The ego on him.
Yeah, I'm begging, dude.
Here's the thing. I suspect that we all at one point in our lives have seen people with an inflated sense of self.
Of course.
People who, when they get like a little taste of success, they change. But here's the thing. When people are like, oh man, like, you know, I used to know so-and-so back in the day, but man, she has changed. And I'm like, no, they haven't changed. You're just seeing the real person.
Yeah.
The person that you thought before that was cool, that wasn't the real person.
Yeah, that was a fake.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the mask.
Exactly. Comic Book Bob says that he met George Romero. I never had the pleasure, unfortunately. It's one of my great regrets. Everybody who ever met him that I've spoken with all said the same thing, that he was just a dude.
Totally.
I mean, absolute humility. Same thing with Stephen King, right? Supposedly just a dude. Absolute humility. Because all of us at some point have seen people who get high off the smell of their own farts.
Yeah.
And
you know, my farts stink, dude. I'm just saying.
I think there was a famous king that happened to. He was a mad king though.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are you eating that you fart and that'll make you high? I mean, seriously.
A lot of fucking beans, rich food.
It's got to be some serious gas coming out that ass since you're getting high off of it.
Yeah, that's not good.
Definitely not.
But but that's the thing too, right? Like I said, anyone who's talked to me, I've said it multiple times, in person, convention, when I started, you know, versus now. I'm the same person. I'm not changing for anything or anyone. Money amplifies douchebags, right?
Yeah, let me just like emphasize what he's saying here, because I met Vinny right when I first came to CG, and he's the first guy that came on my channel of CG, and we talked and got to know each other. We did a 30-minute interview, which is posted on my channel if you ever want to check it out. And then after that, we sat and talked for like 4.5 hours, just shooting the shit and getting to know each other.
Mhm.
Vinny is a righteous dude. He is a solid guy. I consider him a good friend, and he knows I'll fucking kill and die for him, and that's the truth.
Hell, brother, dude, yeah, I appreciate that, and that's the thing, right? It's you never know who you're gonna meet, you never know who you're gonna become friends with, and what's gonna come out of it. So there's a lot of fucking greatness. People just have to give one another a chance, and when you see someone who's genuine, yeah, I think you should fucking help out as much as you can. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Look, I'm I'm hoping if I can get to that next tier, I can reach down and help the next guy up, because we need to think about the people that we haven't even met yet.
Yep.
Yeah,
That are
yeah.
coming.
The truth of the community is,
us.
yeah, the truth. Yeah, the truth of Comasgate numbers. This is the thing that we all have to remember and keep in our heads. Okay, now we can't control anybody else in the community, so we can only control ourselves,
Mhm.
right? But the one thing is that we can do for ourselves and for everybody else is that we can try and help other people get awareness. Now, it's important that we help other creators figure out how to build their own audience and how to reach out to a new audience. Because by teaching other creators how to find a new audience and how to strengthen a new audience, how to use YouTube, how to use Twitter properly to find and acquire new customers for themselves, they're also finding new customers for Comasgate as a whole. And that is something that we all need to do, because if we're all different, we all have our own interests.
Mhm.
If we all reach into our own interest areas properly, we can pull people from those areas who have exactly similar interests. You know what I mean? So we
Yep.
can bring people who like horror comics and people from watching Horror Talk. We can bring people who love horror, but they also love superheroes. You know what I mean? We can find people that didn't know Comasgate existed. We can bring them in. They can be fans. They can be creators in the future. You know what I mean? There's a whole world of people out there that have no idea we exist. And the only way to get to them, because we don't have high dollars to advertise, the only way to get to them is word of mouth. And the only way to make that happen is to expand our reach at a constant basis, constantly.
Yeah,
Like the
you're totally right, and that's why, like, even some of the stuff that I've been doing, I've been trying to get some of either the celebrity people that I've met over the years that if I know they're good people, or other creators, people in animation. I'm trying to do every little bit. I know someone who's in the wrestling world. She agreed upon coming on my show, so she's going to be on soon. It's someone I've known for years.
Nice.
Who she's starting to get a big break as well in that new AEW wrestling division there. So and they're rivaling and beating WWE right now.
No, I love it. I love it.
And it's a cool fucking thing. So like she just has to check with her PR person, but she goes, yeah, we should be good. And then we're gonna make a time and we're gonna get her on. So we'll see. Maybe that'll bring a little bit more of an audience too. You never know how
you might want to tap Ace, Edwin the Ace with that. His wrestling channel's getting some momentum. He may be able to bring more fans to your channel by having him on with you for that.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Antonio also has a thing he calls the Wrestling Council.
Yeah, that would actually be a hell of a 3-panel to interview her with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would.
And you would probably break 100 people watching on a regular on that with that panel.
Nice.
And the project that I'm doing after I finish Six Gun, first things first, I want to do the last 3 issues of Six Gun. After that, I'm doing a comic called Tequila Moonrise, even. And that's gonna have like major wrestling crossover appeal.
That's cool.
Wrestlers and monsters.
Wrestling.
Very cool.
Wrestling, classic wrestling. Anyway.
So you're very big on wrestling then.
Oh yeah. Not so much like what's been going down in like the last 20 years. I mean, I'm digging AEW. I'm digging certain people on Impact. I'm digging Matt Hardy, of all people, has turned out to be one of the most interesting, most creative, most innovative guys when it comes not only to his characterization but also his use of YouTube. There's this chick, Rosemary, in Impact, who's just like off the hook creative, and has been also doing really interesting things with YouTube. So you're seeing like a lot of crossover and people that are using this platform. It's like YouTube and the Twatter are just right now absolutely fundamental, basic self promotion.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, man. It to me, it's still mind blowing. I had Twitter from what is it, maybe 2009, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's written on there, but like I never really use it until last year.
Same here.
Because I tried. Every time I tried, I was getting no traction whatsoever. I even had Mark Hamill retweeted, I think before, or it was right after, right after The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Him and his daughter, they retweeted my artwork, and I still barely got anything. They got all like the views and the likes and shit, but my channel didn't budge. Maybe I got a handful of people subscribed, but it was crazy. I'm like, well, how does this fucking work? And then this community, it just blew up. It blew up as soon as I started using it with everyone.
It just happened organically, and that's the beautiful thing about it.
Well, there are some tricks to Twitter, Vinny, when we're not public, obviously, because there's stuff that I don't share publicly. You know what I mean about social network marketing.
Right.
But there are some tips to using these tools to blow up your channels that, if you ever want to just, that you can always ask, and I'm always happy to share with you, brother. So.
Oh, cool, man. Of course.
If you notice I have several, different properties that are managed with Twitter accounts. And like Captain Love has, like well over 2,500 Twitter followers, and my Succubus movie has, like 1,200 Twitter followers. And, I don't have to spend all day, trying to promote those things. There's techniques to getting those numbers high and getting them to grow organically. So,
we definitely got to talk. Yeah.
Happy to talk to you about that. Yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. That'd be great. What about on Instagram too? You have tips on that?
Yeah, Instagram, there's different techniques, but there's also techniques on that as well. I have, and also Facebook. My Facebook, my profile is about maxed out, and Captain Love has like 6,000 things on it. And the thing about Facebook is I haven't found how to market comic books on Facebook yet, but I'm able to market a lot of other things. So.
Okay.
Facebook is in my experience a waste of time.
No, it's not a waste of time. I haven't figured out the technique for comic books on Facebook.
Oh, okay. All right.
I just haven't figured it out yet. There's something there, like I know how to market a lot of things. It's just that the comic book audience on Facebook is a different kind of audience. They're not like going to a con. They're not like, just a standard, hey, these are a lot. I would say most of the people that I see on there are either comic book store owners who are trying to get people to come into their store, or they're maybe they're doing a little show, but again, it's to promote their store, and then there's a lot of creators who are trying to sell their books, and most of them are all Kickstarter guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the thing is like those guys, they what they do is they drop their project in a group, and they click like on like the first 3 things in the group, and then they split. You know what I mean? And it's like a habit. Everybody's doing that, and nobody's looking at everybody else's projects, and they're just, so there's things like that going on, but there's other things out there. I just haven't discovered what they are yet, and I'll figure it out. I mean, I just haven't had the time to research it thoroughly.
Cross platforming, I think, could be very effective, and also cross interesting. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, I didn't write Tequila Moonrise thinking like, oh, this is going to pull in the wrestling audience, but then I'm like, well, shit.
How do they say wrestling?
Good wrestling,
like a nice white trash rockabilly princess. Let's wrestle.
That's what I call it. That's what I've always called. Because I was into wrestling back when it was sketchy. When the only people into it were like super duper mega white trash and like a couple of deviants. and you'd go to the wrestling shows, and you'd sort of find each other. You know what I mean? Like it's like if you saw any punk rock, you'd see like the occasional punk rocker, occasional guy in a suit, like people that just looked like they didn't belong there, and we'd like meet eyes like pod people and be like.
Yeah, my cousin was, my cousin was huge on wrestling, and I remember when it was ECW.
Oh yeah, ECW was the shit.
Yeah, they used to do all those shows in New York, and my cousin used to go. And I remember he loved that guy Taz, and he remembers getting like really good seats. And he would come home, and he actually had blood shot across onto his shirt.
Oh,
because they had some of those crazy matches, anywhere.
Yeah. And when they did they would actually like cut themselves,
blading.
And then when they'd be hit with the chair, they'd make sure the blood would spurt, and that was.
And I remember my cousin, he had one, and it turned to rust by the time he got home, and he was like, "Holy shit!" And he didn't want to wash it. I'm like, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah,
I still have a pair of sneakers I refuse to throw out because it's covered in guar blood.
Oh my god! Yeah, I remember that, dude.
Yeah, so I kind of lost my interest in wrestling a little bit when WWF changed to was it WCW after that?
No, WWE, and they swallowed up WCW, and so all wrestling became Vince McMahon wrestling.
So
and
WWF changed to WWE is what you're saying, yeah?
Yes, because of the World Wildlife Foundation.
Correct.
Believe it or not. But what really killed wrestling was the Vince McMahon buying ECW, buying WCW, and intentionally killing them both.
Yeah.
And basically that, like when all wrestling became Vince McMahon wrestling, that's when I was like, okay, bye, see ya.
Yeah, he wanted to out all the managers, but.
Man, so many talented wrestlers. I remember thinking you're never going to see this guy again because Vince likes the big muscles. He likes to have a locker room full of Chippendales dancers.
Yeah. When I was watching it, it was Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, Iron Sheik,
Sanuka.
You know what I mean?
Piper's still one of my favorites.
Oh
him and Hitman.
Yeah, those were the days, man. That's when it was still fake, but it was like more real,
Well, that's because they still had kayfabe.
Yeah.
Kayfabe is the term that is used in the wrestling industry for maintaining the illusion of wrestling. That's to say, back in the old days, the faces, who were the good guys, would travel in one bus, and the heels, the bad guys, would travel in a separate bus, right? Because they didn't want to be seen in public together.
Yeah, because it would throw them all off if fans saw like Piper and Hogan were like, if they were really tight fucking friends, and then on TV they're fighting all the time, it's going to ruin the illusion and it's going to hurt business.
Although Piper and Hogan were like best buddies. So
yeah, they were close.
It was really bad when evidently the Iron Sheik and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, they were having a feud, and they got pulled over and busted by the cops in the same car, like for possession of cocaine.
Yep. Yeah. The Sheik is fucking crazy.
What about the most famous friendship? What about the most Mr. T and Hulk Hogan? That was some crazy shit, dude.
That was. I was at the first WrestleMania, man.
Oh, you were?
Yeah. Wow. I was pissed. I was pissed because like that's when suddenly it's like wrestling, because all the good guys won, right? Mm-hmm. And I was all about the heels.
Yep.
Because the heels were way more entertaining. Yeah, and so wrestling was. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, yeah, because if it wasn't for Piper, WrestleMania would not have worked.
No way.
Right.
No way. And also, that's where John Carpenter got the idea of casting him in They Live.
Yep.
Yeah. And
did you ever listen to his podcast before he passed away?
No.
Yeah, a little.
He had some great fucking interviews. Like epic interviews. Yeah, to me, Piper is still a legend.
Eternal. Yeah. And,
he was the wrestler that you loved to hate. You liked him, but he like made you hate him. You know
when he was getting his ass kicked, you were like, "Yeah."
Well, he was a dick. He was a dick, and he played dirty, and he eye gouged. He really eye gouged like really real, you know, and yeah. And there were actually, I remember there were, I thought that, remember there was who was it against, I think fuck, wasn't one of the big names, but it was like, you know, mid-grade dude. They were having a big feud with Piper, and they got it. It was a real feud. It was a real life feud, and they were trying to milk it for the show, for the series, but they were having a real life feud. It's like Homeboy hit on Piper's girlfriend or something like that. You know what I mean?
Oh.
And yeah, and Piper really wanted to kick his ass.
Yeah, there was a lot of stories like that.
Yeah, and they settled it in the ring, and Piper knocked the dog shit out of him.
Yeah, don't forget he won like Golden Globes when he was a teenager. The boxing
Golden Gloves, yeah.
Golden Gloves, yeah. Fuck yeah, he knows how to fight. He is legit.
That was I think that was like the second cage match too when they faced each other. I think that was the second cage match.
Possibly.
Like I was saying about kayfabe, now that kayfabe is dead, right? Because that's when Vince McMahon, when WWF became WWE, he was like, we're not in the sports business. We're in the entertainment business. And suddenly you had all these wrestlers going on talk shows talking about their characters.
Yeah.
And that was an awful thing.
Yeah.
But it's also been a good thing in the sense that now people are writing books, they're doing podcasts, and they're telling these absolutely unbelievable stories.
That's why a lot of them left as well, right? Because they were treated like shit by McMahon.
Absolutely.
He was trying to turn it into something else. And that's the one thing that I love too, is when they do tell the honest stories.
They're unbelievable.
They are fucking unbelievable. That someone that slimy and evil could still have that much fucking leeway over all these people's lives, and
I know
it's insane. But yeah, that's why it's a good thing that a lot of them are starting to do their own shit.
Yep.
You know, it's just, again, it was a goddamn shame that what happened to Piper. But those years of hard drugs and everything else and steroids, that shit it caught up with all of them. Almost all those amazing people. They all passed away around like similar ages, like between like
a few of them had major
and 55.
Yeah, a few of them had major brain injuries because of what they were doing in the ring.
Of course,
and then,
very dangerous.
And then there's guys like Andre the Giant who just got old and unhealthy. So.
No, he was a giant. You never see an old giant.
Yeah, his giantism was fucking killing him. He was in tremendous pain because his body kept growing. That's why he had the operation. But I believe, because what usually happens is it'll stop the height, but then it'll still blow you up in other ways. And he was getting wider and wider, and his back couldn't take the pressure anymore.
And he wasn't allowed to work out. That was the thing. Like if you notice that when he was doing the wrestling, when he first started, he didn't have a big belly, and he was muscular.
He was going off the ropes.
Right.
I know.
Yeah. And then as he progressed, the doctors told him that because he was doing a physical activity, he could no longer work out. And that was something he missed because he felt working out kept him healthy.
Yeah.
And because he wasn't allowed to work out to keep his job going, he got healthier and unhealthier and unhealthier. And if you watch through his years as a wrestler, his shoulders get weaker, his arms are weaker, his belly gets bigger. You know what I mean? He gets flabbier, but he still spreads, his bones still spread wide. You know what I mean? And I feel bad for him because I mean,
it's fucking tragic.
Yeah.
Dude, I heard an awesome story that Piper said about him because he loved him. He goes, especially if you could drink with him and you could sustain yourself, he loved you for life. You were best friends. And he said it. He goes, when you get in the ring with Andre, if he hates you, you are fucking dead. If he loves you, he goes, it's like he treats you like a fly. Mm-hmm. It's like a little butterfly. You'll never get hurt. Never. Mm-hmm. So he goes, they were out drinking once, and I'm sorry, I think it was at a restaurant. Yeah, they were just drinking at the restaurant, and they were just finished their meal, and these young fucking college kids, they started picking on him, and they threw something his way, and really made fun of him. Andre didn't say a word, and he goes, Piper's going, oh shit, you do not do that. You don't upset a giant. He goes, he kept his cool. They went outside. They got there. They're waiting for their car. So they all jump in, right? The valet gave them their tickets, whatever. As they're hopping in the car, Andre is coming out the doors now. He sees them. He goes over to the car and he flipped it on its side with them all in it. And then he wasn't done. He flipped it again, so they were upside down. Fucking Piper grabs him. We gotta get out of here. He goes, I couldn't stop laughing. He goes, then I grabbed him. So we gotta get out of here. And he goes, could you imagine when the cops came? What happened? A giant flipped the car. Oh my God, these guys are drinking too. Let's bust them.
Oh, it's the best story. Oh my God. Yeah, man. Funny shit, man. Yeah, Hogan said, like when he went to body slam him at his last match, that he was just like, he didn't know if Andre was going to let him pick him up or not, right? Because if Andre didn't want you to move him, you weren't moving him.
Exactly.
But he went up and I believe he ripped his Hogan ripped his latissimus dorsi, his right lat or something like that, body slamming him. But he said the same thing. Like if everybody said that about Andre, that if you pissed him off, man, it was a bad move. Yeah. He was going to manhandle you in the ring, but he was incredibly gentle with the people that he liked.
Oh yeah, and yeah, he did say he said he tore almost every muscle he said in his back. It wasn't just his lat, and he didn't feel it because of the adrenaline. When he got to the backstage, he was like, I fucking collapsed. And I think to this day he still takes all these shots. One of the reasons is because of that. Which is insane. I know it's his knee is really fucked up, and I think he said in his back you don't pick up, what was he, close to 600 pounds, like 550, 600, some shit like that.
Damn.
Yeah, and mind you, when he did that, he gave him a little bit of a boost, but at the same time, the majority of that work was on Hogan, right? Because Andre couldn't really move because it was around the same time he did Princess Bride. And he was in extreme pain just to carry what's her face, the blonde. I can't think. Robin Wright. Yeah, Robin Wright. He was in tremendous pain to carry her. Oh. So could you imagine another fucking wrestler, someone over 300 pounds of solid muscle?
Oh God.
Yeah. I can't.
Brutal.
You know what do you guys know? Because I heard this rumor. Obviously, I don't know any truth to it or not, but this is the rumor that Hulk Hogan hurt his knee for the first time making Rocky 3 when he did the backbreaker on Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone accidentally elbowed his knee and injured it.
No, I think I know a little bit of that story. He had an injury because when he got into wrestling, I think he came from football first. When he was getting into it. Because I don't think he hit the major leagues or the main division, or maybe he did. I forgot. But they said when he went to go into wrestling, I forgot the guy who did it, but he was one of the ones who goes. He looked at my size and he wanted to put me in my place right off the bat because I was manhandling people in the ring, with quite ease. And it was, I don't know if it's because maybe he thought I was getting an ego. I probably was, but. When he goes, I got in the ring with them, and this guy broke his fucking leg on purpose. To put him in his place, and because of that, he's had a lifelong injury.
So maybe the story was exaggerated and just it was an accident, and Stallone just popped his bad knee or something.
Yeah, I think that's something like that.
Aggravated an old injury,
right?
That wouldn't be That wouldn't be surprising. It's incredibly dangerous what those folks do. It fucks their bodies up in terrible, terrible, terrible ways.
For sure.
And you look at like the current generation of wrestlers, and they're easily the most talented
wrestlers
ever, right? But they're so constricted, they can't create their own. They can't do their own thing. They're not allowed to be creative. Yeah. That's up to a department called creative. Yeah. Which is literally a room full of like millennials, like millennial Harvard graduates sitting around and who have never been wrestling fans, knew nothing about wrestling, sitting around and literally writing their dialogue for them. So because one of the things that used to be so great about grappling was that, you know, you had these people like Ric Flair, right? You had these people like The Rock who could just go off on a mic and improv in an incredible way. And Piper was great at improv too, you know. Not everybody was really great on the mic.
Yep.
But when you had people that had like amazing mic ability, oh man, you know.
Yeah,
And,
good luck beating Piper, dude. Piper's hit was the best.
yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I broke coconuts over Jimmy Snuka's head.
Junkyard Dog. That's who Piper was fighting. That they had the vendetta. That they had the.
Oh, JYD. No kidding.
Which one?
Yeah, that's the one. It was Junkyard Dog. They had a problem.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
probably, yeah, because they said some of those guys, yeah, they always did clash. But I know the Mr. T thing was fucked up too. Mr. T, he ended up getting afraid. He was gonna walk out of WrestleMania. It almost didn't happen. And fucking Piper ran down. He was like, what the fuck is going on? He goes, you know how many people are up there waiting for us, and you're gonna leave? Like he came off like he was afraid, or he thought it was gonna go 100% real. And he shit his pants at the last minute. And they had to literally, Piper went down there and goes, if you don't go up there, I will fucking kill you. You know, it's like, what are you doing? There's a show. You're getting paid.
Mr. T's a bitch.
Piper was a notorious hothead, though. He was a notorious hothead.
But he was a hot, but he was fucking professional. That's the thing. That's the difference.
Yep. And Mr. T is a notorious asshole.
Mhm.
I just remember there had been problems on the set of the A-Team. Evidently, there were like a bunch of people sitting around, I think like for lunch, right? That were like technical people, like from lighting, grips, that sort of a thing.
Yep.
And he came up to them and he was like, that's my table. You're not sitting at my table. Get away from my table. That's my table. And they started fucking ranking on him.
Yeah.
Hard. And especially since he had a bodyguard, like, oh, you're acting like you're this big tough guy, you got a bodyguard, et cetera, right? And because he didn't, you know, it was all about him. He was charging children $1 for an autograph.
He was fucking cheap. Holy shit.
George Papard, I'll never forget it, was asked about T because there had been like reports of strife on the set of that show, and you know, George Papard was asked about it, and I just remember him saying, "The man is an embarrassment." And so, like, well, could you like, you know, maybe elaborate on that? The man is an embarrassment. That's all he had to say.
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So when it was over for Mr. T, it was over because he acted like a douchebag, and you know, you treat people like shit. They're gonna remember on your way down. You know.
Oh yeah, it'll come back to you for sure. See, that's another reason why I love and respect Piper, because he always did treat the fans like gold. And he would do things. He would go to fucking hospitals. He would help out kids like that. And I'll be honest, he's one of the few that when his brothers did get fucked up hard, he's one of the few that actually went and made sure that they were okay in the hospital. He sat with them. I know with what's his name? With Hitman, when he had his stroke, he was the only person who actually went there in the hospital aside from family. Man. Piper went, and he sat with him the whole fucking time. You know, holding his hand and telling him it's going to be okay in case, because at one point they thought he was going to fucking die, and he was there for him. So yeah, mad respect for him. Always
mad crazy respect.
Oh hell yeah!
Peace, Roddy. Rest in peace, Hot Rod.
Yeah, definitely. So on that note, let's remind everybody to Back Through the Woods hardcover collected edition. This thing is hardcover. It's oversized. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Come down here and look at this.
Gimme.
You need this book. If that doesn't convince you, maybe this will.
Back Through the Woods today on Indiegogo.
And if you didn't quite see that,
Back Through the Woods today on Indiegogo.
Yeah, and a friend informed me as well that that is from, I think, Cabin in the Woods, and I actually did meet that actress. I forgot what her name was. She was a couple tables down from Jason Momoa when I had met him.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
I love
forgot
that
her
movie.
name. Yeah,
We've been streaming for almost 3 hours now, so we're going to shut the stream down and then we will talk in the back room. Everybody, thank you for coming for this episode of Horror Talk. Remember to go and check out Through the Woods hardcover. You're going to want it. Just seriously, stop hemming and hawing. I know there's a lot of books to back right now, but you're going to want this one. Vinny's not going to release this book again, just like you're not going to ever see that Halloween book again. You're kicking yourself for missing the Halloween book. It's too bad. Stop crying like a little bitch and go back Through the Woods now.
That's right.
You lose.
Do it before the 19th to get a chance to get in the ash can. Like I said, we hit 25 before then or on that day. Yeah, all those early backers only will be getting that ash can.
Yeah, don't miss out. It's important. All right. So everybody, thank you for coming. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Peace, love, and soul.
Later.